Chapter 540. Astonished country people, lovers finally meet. _5. However, the sight of dolphins leaping out of the sea at sunrise was rare. So Yang immediately picked up her camera to capture the moment. After a while, the boat docked. Emily stood at the hotel entrance, exclaiming excitedly, "Oh my God! We are so fated. I'm staying at this hotel too." "Really?" Yang was somewhat surprised. "Of course." Emily nodded. Yang brought Emily to her room and handed her the unopened box of Radiant Skin. "This is the Radiant Skin skincare set. Just read the instructions for use. Oh yes, there are a few samples in there too. You can try those first." Since the very beginning, Yang intended to introduce Radiant Skin to the international market. Therefore, she had instructed for both Chinese and English labels when she had them made. "Thank you. How much is this?" Emily took out her purse. Yang laughed. "No need for money. If you really want to thank me, teach my mother English. Also, she can help you learn some Chinese." "Sure." Emily nodded enthusiastically. She had no plans to go out and explore anyway. During these past few days on the island, Tsuehua had already picked up a few simple English phrases, such as hello, thank you, excuse me, and other commonly used expressions. Tsuehua was a very smart person, so she had no difficulty picking up new concepts. On the contrary, Emily was not as quick to learn. While Tsuehua was already mastering many little English tricks, Emily still had not grasped Chinese at all. By the end of the day, Tsuehua had learned to introduce herself in English and some basic phrases for asking directions. Although her grasp of the language was just at the surface, it was a significant improvement from her first day in country. She had begun to accept country gradually, but was still having difficulty adjusting to the food. She was fine initially, but after days of eating lobster and king crab, she began to miss the meals in China, like rice, hot pot, braised pork, and even pickled radish from the snowfields. No matter how great country is, it could never compare to China. Over the next few days, Yang took Tsuehua to visit places like the Marsh Park, Coral Tower, and Hemingway House. A flash, and more than 10 days had passed. At the moment, the mother and daughter have arrived in Hawaii from Miami, where they would be able to visit the Volcano National Park and the famous black sand beach on the Big Island of Hawaii. The beach was a place they would never get tired of. To their surprise, they stumbled upon a Chinese restaurant right on the black sand beach. Encountering a fellow countryman in a foreign land thrilled Tsuehua. "Fellow countryman, where are you from?" she asked. "We're from Shanghai, and you?" The restaurant owner replied. "We're originally from Haicheng, but we've settled down in Beijing City. This is my elder daughter, and this is my younger one. Are you folks settling down here?" The restaurant owner nodded. "Our family has been in country for many years." In the end, Tsuehua ordered dishes such as fish-flavored eggplant, braised egg, braised pork, braised sea fish, and vegetable tofu soup. The dishes were slightly sweet and salty and had the authentic taste of Shanghai. It was their first Chinese meal since arriving in country, and the three of them enjoyed it immensely. After lunch, Tsuehua lulled little Yun to sleep in the hotel, while Yang strolled along the beach, listening to the sound of the sea. She was wearing a burgundy cheongsam, her hair cascading down her back, a crystal clip on her ear, carrying a pair of small leather shoes, revealing white ankles as smooth as jade, her toes buried in the black sand, looking like a row of delicate little seashells. If time could stand still, this moment would be like a beautiful painting. We don't know how many people wanted to strike up a conversation with her, but didn't have the courage to do so. "Which country is she from?" "Looks like either H country or our country." No, she's from China." "How can you tell?" "Look at her clothes. I studied Chinese history, and the dress she's wearing is called a cheongsam. It originated in the 1920s, and is a unique Chinese attire. The cheongsam is so beautiful. I want to own one too. I'd love to visit China if I get a chance." These conversations on the beach were all heard from a nearby dining table. People from various countries were seated at the dining table. Despite their diverse backgrounds, they all had one thing in common. They were all trying to please the man seated at the head of the table. He was like the moon surrounded by stars. His beauty was unmatched. Even a single glance from him could invoke fear. However, at this moment he was staring out the window at something, his eyes filled with unresolved darkness. This left the others at the table puzzled and unable to decipher the thoughts of the big boss. Mainly because there were too many people on the beach, and given the distance, it wasn't clear who exactly he was looking at. Mr. Mog, I propose a toast to you. A Caucasian man stood up and raised his glass towards the man at the head of the table. People from M country were always arrogant, and they harbored quite severe racial discrimination. Typically, it was rare for them to raise a glass to people from other countries. However, Mr. Mog was a different case. He was celebrated as a prized jewel in Europe. The man raised his glass in a symbolic toast, took a sip, and then, as if remembering something, he stood up and began walking towards the door, his slow walk transforming into a jog and then into a sprint. At the dining table, a group of perplexed people hurriedly followed after him. The man looked back irritated. Everyone disperse. I have more important matters to attend to. We'll discuss the collaboration another day. He didn't compromise with these foreigners. Instead, he spoke in fluent Chinese. But when you reach a certain height in life, you no longer need to cater to others. It's others who cater to you. He was the perfect example of that. Thus, everyone in the business world knew that, if they wanted to work with Mr. Mog, they had to master fluent Chinese. Upon hearing this, everyone dispersed, curiosity nagging at them. What could be more important than a collaboration? This deal was worth more than 9 figures after all. The man continued running towards the seashore. The closer he got, the more certain he was that he wasn't mistaken. Yang Yang was here. That was Yang Yang. He hadn't expected to see an I Yang here. And Mo Chishan felt his heart racing as though it might jump out of his chest. At this moment, this mysterious boss, usually so elegant and reticent, was as excited as a 3-year-old child. It was similar to how a monkey burst out of a stone in the 1988 adaptation of Journey to the West. He wanted to surprise Yang Yang, and then kiss her, hug her, lift her up high. The fantasy was rich, but reality was raw. Mo Chishan was so excited that, without slowing down, he ran straight into an I Yang, and due to the force, they both fell down on the beach. Just then, a wave crashed over them. An I Yang was completely off guard. By the time she reacted, she was already on the beach, tightly held around her waist by someone. She was about to shout at the person when she saw a familiar face. Was this Mo Chishan? An I Yang reached out to pinch his face. It felt real, and the skin under her fingertips was quickly turning red. Does it hurt? She asked. No, Mo Chishan replied. No pain? Was she dreaming? An I Yang applied more pressure. Does it hurt now? Mo Chishan's face reddened from the pinch. Wife, it kind of hurts now, he said pitifully. Since he felt the pain, it meant she wasn't dreaming. An I Yang's expression slowly turned to surprise. Brother Mo. Wife. Mo Chishan planted a fierce kiss on An I Yang's face. Finding it not enough, he kissed her once again. One of Mo Chishan's men, responsible for his safety and watching them through binoculars, was astounded. Oh my God! The one pinning the young girl down on the beach and kissing her. Was that really their boss? Chapter 541. Ancient Castle, Private Jet, and the Stunned Suehua. _1 Perhaps it's an illusion? He puts down the binoculars, rubs his eyes, and when he looks through them again, the scene hasn't changed. He gives his thigh a pinch, unwilling to believe what he's seeing. Ouch! It hurts. Damn it! This isn't an illusion. Gaping in disbelief, he continues studying the scene. The usually stern and unsmiling boss was now atop a young girl, unashamedly taking advantage of her. Then he must have done something to anger her because she raises a hand and twists his face fiercely. Witnessing this, he could only kneel before her in awe. If he hadn't seen this with his own eyes, he would never believe that the mighty boss could be so smitten by a young girl. The boss he knew was aloof, stern, devoid of female company, and had even coldly rejected the confession of love by the Prime Minister's daughter of Y country. Despite her threatening suicide, he didn't bat an eyelid. Therefore, they had all guessed that perhaps the boss had a problem of some sort, which was why he had turned down the Prime Minister's daughter. After all, she possessed power, influence, and the title of Y Country's most beautiful woman. Not to mention, she was also younger than the boss by 3 or 4 years. He wondered how the girl bewitching the boss looked, and whether she was more beautiful than the Prime Minister's daughter. In his line of vision through the binoculars, he could only make out a blurry side profile of the girl. Her skin was fair, and her hair was black. She probably wasn't from M country, but she couldn't certainly be identified as Chinese either, since residents of our country and H country looked quite similar to Chinese people. The most inferior pursuer that the boss had ever had was the Prime Minister's daughter of Y country. This girl might be a princess or a rich heiress from some Asian country. Big brother Mo, please get up. And I Young additionally pushes Mo Chishan. Can I kiss you again? No. And I Young turned her face away. Please get up. Just one more kiss. Mo Chishan lowered his head and nibbled her chin. Alright, you can stop now. I've kissed you so many times, you should kiss me back. Otherwise it isn't fair. Mo Chishan came forward with his lips. Mr. Mo, I've found that you're becoming more and more shameless. And I Young slapped his face. Mo Chishan responded earnestly. What's the importance of face? Is it more important than having a wife? And I Young. This man is such a dog. And I Young raised her head and symbolically kissed him, only for Mo Chishan, sporting an expensive wristwatch, to suddenly hold the back of her head. The subordinate on the other side silently put down his binoculars. Before he did, he couldn't help but complain. Where is the boss putting his hand now? Who would have guessed that the boss was like this? After a while, they finally stood up from the beach to take a stroll along the shore. The sea breeze blew softly. Thankfully, it was summer, and their wet clothes were quickly dried by the wind. Big brother Mo, weren't you in F country? When did you come to M country? And I Young asked. I arrived a few days ago. Mo Chishan replied. What about you? Why didn't you tell me when you came to M country? If it weren't for his keen sight, he would probably have missed their encounter in M country. Wasn't I afraid to disturb your work? Mo Chishan held her hand tightly. Where's the job that's more important than you? Promise me, you'll tell me wherever you go next time. And I Young raised her eyebrows slightly. Sweet talker. Every word comes from the heart. His words seemed casual, but every word was incredibly sincere. And I Young smiled faintly, dimples appearing on her cheeks. By the way, Mo Chishan continued, has our mom also come? Have you no shame? And I Young kicked him lightly. After all, you'll have to call her mom sooner or later, Mo Chishan said. I need to get used to it. And I Young. This man is not only becoming more and more dog-like, but he's also becoming increasingly shameless. Did our mom come or not? Mo Chishan kept asking. And I Young was utterly defeated by his shamelessness. Yes, she's here, currently resting in the hotel with Yun. When do you think they'll wake up? Under normal circumstances, maybe an hour or 2. Mo Chishan then said. I will take you guys somewhere this afternoon. Where are we going? And I Young asked. It's a secret for now, Mo Chishan continued. First go back with me to change clothes. Then let's go find our mom together. Although their clothes were now dry, they still bore the traces of seawater, making them uncomfortable to wear. Chapter 542. Ancient Castle, Private Jet, and Aitsuehua is shocked. _2. And I Young followed Mo Chishan to his residence. It was a top-grade hotel on the island. Mo Chishan stayed in an undersea suite. The hotel only had one such suite, and it was the kind where you could see sharks from within your room without going out. Not only sharks, but also lanternfish, jellyfish, and various marine creatures. They all seemed incredibly fascinated by this room. This room isn't bad. And I Young had stayed in a similar room in her last life, which cost 6 figures per day. But in this life, her financial situation wasn't yet up to that standard. Mo Chishan pressed a wall switch. In the moment he turned around, the light just happened to illuminate his face. So wife, would you like to move in and sleep with me? A gentleman as precious as jade, incomparable in the world. For an instant, and I Young was slightly stunned. Dream on. Ah, my heart hurts so much. Mo Chishan immediately turned into a drama queen, pretending to be in pain. Go and change your clothes. And Young continued. I'll watch the fish for a while. Mo Chishan obediently went into the washroom. And Young stood by the glass wall, waving at a sea turtle. Suddenly, there was a knock on the door. And Young walked over to open it. The butler of the hotel was there. Hello, Miss Anai. These clothes were sent by Mr. Mo. The butler handed Young a paper bag. Okay, thank you. And Young took it. The butler then said, if there's nothing else, I'll leave now. Okay. And Young nodded slightly. Mo Chishan came out of the fitting room drying his hair as soon as Young closed the door. Are the clothes here? Young, you should change quickly. There are new towels inside. Since they were already a couple, Young didn't feel awkward and went into the washroom. Only when she took the clothes did she notice that Mo Chishan had even prepared her underwear. And the size was incredibly accurate. Did this dog of a man have a ruler in his hands? Yang's ears turned slightly red. After zoning out for a bit, Young picked up the shower head to bathe. Because her hair had some sand on it, she also shampooed her hair. After her bath, she felt completely refreshed. It was incredibly soothing. What Mo Chishan had prepared was a beautifully embroidered cheongsam. The embroidery on the cheongsam was incredibly intricate, adorned with rubies and pearls. Such lavish decoration looked neither vulgar nor ostentatious on Young, but rather exceptionally fresh and aesthetic. When Young came out, Mo Chishan had already finished drying his hair. He waved at Young. Come here, wife, let me dry your hair. Young walked over. I can do it myself. It felt awkward to let someone else handle this kind of thing. Mo Chishan didn't say a word, instead demonstrating his attitude with action. Yang's wrist was captured, and before she knew it, she was sitting on his lap. Don't move, let me do it. His movements were very gentle, as if handling a precious treasure. His fingers kept moving through her hair, leaving only the hum of the hair dryer in the air. Mo Gij, have you ever dried hair for other female friends like this before? Mo Chishan's shallow voice came from close by. You are the first. But your technique seems pretty skilled, Young remarked. His skills were almost comparable to a hairdresser. Perhaps it's because I'm gifted. Mo Chishan continued. Wife, I'm so envious of you. You've managed to find such an excellent husband like me. Young responded with disdain. Please use your talent to torment someone else. No, I only want to torment you. This life, the next life, the life after that. Young raised her eyebrows slightly. I must have really bad luck then. Mo Chishan chuckled. Then I'm really lucky. In no time, her hair was dried. Young was fixing her hair in front of the mirror when she noticed that she was missing one of her favorite crystal hairpins. She didn't notice during her shower. It must have fallen out when she was messing around in the sand with Mo Chishan. Is something missing? Mo Chishan hugged her waist from behind, resting his chin on her shoulder. A hairpin. Is it that crystal hairpin? To be honest, the way that Young first caught Mo Chishan's attention was how the crystal hairpin reflected sunlight. After meeting Young, he only had eyes for her, completely forgetting about the hairpin. Chapter 543. Castle, Private Jet, and the Astounded Suehua. _3. Yes, exactly that one. Young nodded. Then let's hurry back to check it now. It might still be on the beach. Okay. The two left the hotel to the beach and didn't see as much as a half footprint, let alone the flip-flops. Young said, forget it, let's stop looking. I can buy another pair when we get home. Let's go back to the hotel. My mother should be awake by now. Mo Chishan, looking back at the beach, said, okay. Young was staying in a standard double room. There was a small living room and a kitchen, but they were on vacation and not really cooking, though Tsuehua would make some vegetable and lean meat porridge every morning, because she really couldn't get used to the breakfast here. Hello, Auntie. Seeing Mo Chishan, Tsuehua exclaimed surprisingly. Xiaoma, when did you come? I just arrived not long ago. Little Yin said excitedly, brother-in-law, brother-in-law. Mo Chishan, like a magician, pulled out a piece of candy for little Yin. Little Yin was even happier, laughing so much that she almost stomped a hole in the ground. Brother-in-law, again. The term brother-in-law was so pleasing to hear. Mo Chishan generously offered little Anayun another piece of candy. Mom, brother Mo said he wants to take us out this afternoon. Where are we going? Suehua asked. I don't know that. Anayang shrugged. He said it's a secret. Mo Chishan glanced at his watch. It's about time, let's go out now. Anayang nodded. The 3 adults and 1 child left the hotel. In order not to disturb the young couple, Suehua deliberately walked behind holding the child. With Suehua there, Mo Chishan behaved properly and didn't dare to make any inappropriate moves. Even holding Anayang's hand required hesitation. Being affectionate in front of elders seemed a bit inappropriate. What if his potential mother-in-law thinks he's too frivolous? Brother Mo, it seems like there is no way forward, and the pier isn't this far away. Anayang expressed her doubt. Could it be Mo Chishan planned to take them on a jungle adventure? Mo Chishan laughed. Don't worry, I won't sell you. The area ahead was a wide dark beach, which seemed to be dominated by the 4 of them. There were no tourists, and several coconut crabs were lazily bathing in the sun on the beach. If it were not for the fact that they were tired of coconut crabs and various seafood, Anayang would definitely run over to catch them. Just then, a rumbling noise suddenly resounded in the sky. This sound. Was it the sound of an helicopter? Anayang frowned slightly, and as she looked up, indeed saw a helicopter flying over. Was this helicopter here to pick them up? Suehua was also slightly stunned. Though she had been on a plane, this was her first time seeing a helicopter. In a short while the helicopter landed in front of them. The cabin door opened and a tall pilot came out and respectfully said, Sir. Mo Chishan gave a slight nod then said, Auntie Yang, let's go in first. Suehua, holding the child, went in first. Mo Chishan and Anayang followed. As they ascended the steps, Mo Chishan carefully held onto her slender waist. As they seated inside the cabin, Suehua still felt surreal. Xiaoma, is this helicopter yours? Yes, Auntie. Mo Chishan nodded. At a time when ordinary homes couldn't even afford a bicycle, Mo Chishan actually owned a helicopter. He must be really rich. This helicopter must be very expensive, right? Suehua asked. Mo Chishan replied, It's okay, not too expensive. The pilot seated in the cockpit thought. Indeed, not too expensive. An 8-digit price tag in USD for a helicopter is really not much. Anayang had actually noticed back at the hotel that Mo Chishan was not one to flaunt his wealth. He must have a very successful business abroad. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to afford such an underwater suite. If Mo Chishan was really a prodigal, the Mo family's assets would not have been enough for him to squander. However, Anayang is not interested in his real identity, because from the beginning, the man she fell in love with is Mo Chishan. No matter who he is, she will always stay faithful to him. But Anayang never expected that Mo Chishan would actually arrange for a helicopter to come pick them up. Brother Mo, can you tell us now where you're taking us? Anayang turned to look at him. Keep it a secret for a little while longer. Mo Chishan continued. You will know when we get there. Chapter 544. Ancient Castle, Private Jet, and the Stunned-Eyed Suehua. _4. The helicopter flew for about 2 hours before finally landing on top of a mountain. But this wasn't just an ordinary mountain, it was a very grand castle. The castle looked very magnificent, even more imposing than the ones seen on television. What kind of place is this? Anayed Suehua had never seen such a castle before. This is Rust Castle, Mo Chishan explained. Anayang's tone was light. Brother Mo, did you buy this place? Yes, Mo Chishan nodded. Anayed Suehua was stunned once again. Although she knew the Mo family was rich, she didn't know just how wealthy they actually were. Let me show you around. Mo Chishan led the way. This was the first time Mo Chishan had brought a woman to the castle. The first person to be taken aback was the butler, Old Tom. Then it was the servants. Could the most beautiful one be the mistress of the castle? Indeed, she's a very beautiful Oriental girl. Old Tom immediately went to prepare dinner. Top-grade red wine, air-shipped foie gras and fresh fruits and vegetables. There were top chefs from more than 50 countries in the castle, so the dinner was bound to be sumptuous. This was the most expensive, most luxurious private castle in M country. decorated exquisitely inside and out, emanating an artistic vibe everywhere. One feels calm and joyful just walking in it. Such beauty and awe are indescribable. Every vase or decoration within the castle is a work of a famous artist. This place is essentially a museum, where history and art are intertwined. Yang took out her camera to take photos. Suehua said, Yang, let me take a photo of you and Xiaoma. Sure. Yang nodded and handed her camera to Suehua. In front of Suehua, Qishan felt a little embarrassed and dared not get too close to Yang. Suehua laughed. Xiaoma, get a little closer to Yang. This kid is too naive. She worries that Yang might take advantage of him. Qishan touched his nose. Me and Yang aren't married yet, it isn't proper. Yang. When the hell did you think about being proper when you forcefully kissed me? This guy is simply a big wolf in sheep's clothing. Suehua said. It's fine. Society has changed, Xiaoma. Why are you so conservative? Auntie isn't that old-fashioned. With more exposure to the world, her horizons had broadened and her thoughts were no longer constrained. Suehua, after staying in country for a while, had changed a lot. Then Qishan slowly moved closer to Yang, quietly hooked Yang's hand with his pinky. Looking up at him, Yang noticed his pretense of ignorance. He's such a jerk. Suehua took several photos of them. The background was the grand castle, but their presence overshadowed it. The castle was vast. They spent the entire afternoon touring it and still hadn't seen it all. In the end, a helicopter came to take them back to the main building. The dining room was over 100 square meters. The dining table was large and filled with delicious dishes. There was a steaming hot pot as well as exquisite steak, succulent foie gras, top-grade tuna sashimi. Although the table was large, they didn't worry about reaching the dishes, because more than a dozen servants were at their service. If they lingered on a dish, someone would help serve it. Yang sighed inwardly. Being rich is truly a good thing. She, too, should work hard to reach this level of lifestyle. Suehua was dazed throughout. She had never been served like this before. That night, the three of them stayed in the castle. Suehua was watching TV on the sofa. Yang, can you tell me what Xiaomo's family does? How come they're so rich? As Yang casually ate an orange, she replied, It's not the Mo family that's rich, it's Qishan himself. Mum, one day I'll be this rich too. And buy you a grand castle. On this point, Yang saw things clearly. Even with the Mo family's wealth, buying a castle and helicopters would be a challenge. Suehua laughed. I'm content with the life I have now, I don't need a castle. A year and a half ago, Suehua would have never imagined she would be living the good life she was now. Chapter 545. Ancient Castle, Private Jet, and the Stunned Suehua. _5. Yang has now become very successful. Even though she can't yet afford a castle, she already owns several properties in Beijing, and her career is gradually stabilizing. Suehua believes that in the near future, Yang will definitely have even greater breakthroughs. Emily is a genuine country citizen from a decent family. This year, she's a freshman at a college that's different from regular colleges because it's military managed and summer break only lasts 15 days. Therefore, after the trip to Miami, Emily didn't continue to travel with Yang, but instead returned to school. On her first day back to school, Emily could hardly wait to open the Icy Skin Jade Skin set gifted by Yang. The gift box set included facial cleanser, aloe vera gel, rose hydrosol, whitening moisturizer, acne cream, and a bottle of anti-wrinkle cream. Emily attentively studied the instruction manual, eventually using the hydrating and whitening skincare set. She didn't use the acne and anti-wrinkle creams because her current skin is without acne, and the anti-wrinkle cream could be given to her mother. Emily, what are you unpacking? A roommate walked in from outside the door. A skincare set gifted by a good friend. Emily responded, girls naturally have no resistance to skincare products. Really? Let me see. The roommate sat on the bench across from Emily, picked up the aloe vera gel, and asked, do you mind if I open it to take a look? Not at all. Emily shook her head with a smile. The roommate peeled off the transparent foil from the aloe vera gel bottle, unscrewed the cap, and squeezed out a little gel onto the back of her hand. The transparent gel-like substance, with a faint refreshing fragrance, was instantly absorbed by the skin after application, leaving the skin feeling refreshed and clear. It was much more effective than the skincare products they usually used. The roommate amazedly commented, "This is the first time I've seen skincare products like this. Could you tell me where you bought it? I want to buy a set too." Emily said, "My good friend brought this back from China. You can't buy it here. Oh, I also have some sample sizes here. If you think they're good after trying them, I can ask my friend to send us some more." "Really?" "Absolutely." Emily nodded. "Lina, when have I ever lied to you?" "Oh, Emily, you and your friend are just angels." Lina excitedly hugged Emily. Emily handed the sample size bottle to Lina. "I'm going to try it now." Lina immediately took the sample and headed for the bathroom. Emily also followed Lina into the bathroom. Even in the economically developed country, they didn't have facial cleanser, and the two girls were in awe. "Oh my God, this facial cleanser is amazing. The Chinese are incredible. This rose hydrosol feels so good when I pat it on my face." The bathroom was filled with a subtle fragrance, making the other two roommates who had just returned very surprised. The next morning when Emily and Lina woke up, they realized that their skin felt different from usual. Especially Lina. When she started using the Icy Skin Jade Skin Set, she had a few small pimples on her face, but now they have noticeably faded and don't hurt anymore. "My goodness! This Icy Skin Jade Skin is truly miraculous. Emily, you have to ask your friend to get a set for me. Money is not an issue." Lina tightly grabbed Emily's hand. The students who could afford to be in this college were either rich or belonged to noble families, so they didn't care about money. Emily laughed and said, "All right, I'll definitely let her know." Seeing Lina's reaction, the other two roommates were curious. Is this skincare product really that miraculous? They were also intrigued. "Really?" Lina nodded excitedly. "Look, my pimples have already started to disappear." Emily added, "And my skin has become smoother." The two roommates were still somewhat skeptical. They thought Emily and Lina might just be experiencing a placebo effect. How could a skincare product be so miraculous? However, Emily and Lina had only used it for one day. Even though there was a difference in their skin, the change wasn't drastic, so it was understandable for their roommates to be skeptical. Just then, there was a knock at the door. Lina ran to open the door. It turned out that it was Emily's mother, Annie, who had come to visit Emily. "Mom." The mother and daughter embraced each other warmly after a long separation. As Annie was leaving, Emily handed her the box of anti-wrinkle cream. "Mom, this is an anti-wrinkle cream. Take it home and try it, it works really well." "Anti-wrinkle cream?" Annie frowned slightly. "Are you squandering money on skincare products again?" "This was given to me by a very beautiful Eastern girl." Emily went on. "She's also a good friend I just met." Annie looked at the anti-wrinkle cream. "I've never seen this brand before." "This brand is only available in China." Emily explained. "China?" Annie frowned again. "Oh God. That's a terrible place." Emily then said, "China is growing, Mom. You shouldn't look at it with such prejudice." From the descriptions and introductions of Yang in the past few days, Emily was filled with curiosity about the mysterious East. She was unhappy to hear her mother belittling China at this moment. "Emily, you're still young, you don't understand." "I'm an adult now," Emily replied. "Anyway, please don't talk about China like that." "Will this stuff spoil my face?" Annie asked. "No, Mom, your prejudice against China is too deep. I used this skincare product last night, and it works much better than those expensive products you buy." "Really?" Annie was somewhat incredulous. She had visited China once with her grandfather when she was very young. At that time, the men still wore long braids, and the women had bound feet and walked unsteadily. So, in her impression, China has always been a very underdeveloped country. Of course, she would not dare to use skincare products from such a backward country. What would happen if it ruined her face? "You know, I never lie," Emily said seriously. Annie then put the wrinkle cream into her bag and added, If you feel anything abnormal with your face, remember to take time off to go to the hospital. I want this skincare product works really well. Annie didn't say more. Well, I'm leaving now. Remember to take good care of yourself in school. Emily saw Annie out of the school gate. After getting home, Annie casually tossed the wrinkle cream onto the coffee table. Although she loves to look beautiful and wants to eliminate the wrinkles at the corners of her eyes and forehead, she isn't foolish enough to actually use this wrinkle cream. Just then, her good friend came over to chat with Annie in the evening. Seeing the wrinkle cream on the coffee table, she picked it up out of curiosity. "My dear, when did you buy this wrinkle cream? Is it any good?" For women in their 50s, wrinkles are their enemy. So Caroline noticed this skincare cream as soon as she walked in. Annie shrugged. "I don't know, it was given to Emily by her Chinese friend. Honestly, I would not dare to use this. Only Emily would be so daring." "Chinese?" Caroline was curious. "Yes." Annie nodded. Caroline went on. "If you're afraid to use it, give it to me. I want to try." "Aren't you afraid it will ruin your face?" Annie asked in surprise. Caroline joked. "All beauty comes with risks." The temptation of the anti-wrinkle cream was just too great. To date, no anti-wrinkle creams had been released in the market of country. "If you want it, take it," Annie continued. "But I have to make it clear, I won't take responsibility for any risks." Caroline laughed. "Don't worry, I promise not to blame you." Chapter 546. Returning to my country, I feel like kneeling down and calling for Brother Yen. _1 Caroline took home the anti-wrinkle cream, but she was slightly unsure about using it right away since the product was from China after all. If it really did damage her face, who would she turn to? So, to be safe, she applied a tiny bit on the back of her hand first. Better to damage her hand than her face. The anti-wrinkle cream was a light pink, smelled faintly of herbal medicine, and was very gentle, feeling cool when applied to the back of her hand. Caroline evenly applied the cream to her left hand. Then, filled with expectancy and trepidation, she drifted off to sleep. She had an extremely bad dream. In her dream, the hand she had smeared the cream on had rotted down to its skeleton. Caroline woke up from the fright, covered in cold sweat, and hurried to look at her hand. Thank God! In the silver lining of an unfortunate situation, her hand hadn't rotted away. Moreover, she wasn't sure if it was just a misperception, but she felt the skin on the back of her left hand was genuinely firmer than the day before. Caroline's movement also startled her sleeping husband. "Dear, what's wrong?" "Nothing, I just had a nightmare." Dreams are often the opposite of reality. Her husband comforted her. Although there was no problem with the back of her left hand, Caroline still didn't dare to use the anti-wrinkle cream generously. After washing up, she went on applying more cream to the back of her left hand. If her hand is still unharmed 3 days later, she'll consider applying it to her face. The next day, Mo Qixin was still showing Enai Yang and Enai Tsuehua around the manor. Enai Tsuehua wanted to leave more time to the young couple, so she said, Yang, you tour around with Xiaoma, Yunyun and I will go over there." Yunyun just insisted she wanted to swim. In the back garden of the manor, there was an outdoor swimming pool covering more than 200 square meters. Mo Qixin said, "I'll have the butler follow you, he will arrange a car when you're tired." Furthermore, the manor was so vast it was easy to get lost. All the servants in the manor can speak Chinese, so there's no need to worry about any language barriers. "All right." Enai Tsuehua nodded. "That would be great, Xiaoma." Mo Qixin said, "Auntie, there's no need to mention it, it's my duty." By this time, country had some simple communication tools, akin to the later generation's walkie-talkies. Mo Qixin said a few words, and in less than 2 minutes, Old Tom arrived in a small car. "Please follow me." Old Tom's attitude was extra respectful, because he knew Enai Tsuehua was no ordinary guest. Enai Tsuehua nodded, and under Old Tom's guidance, she set off on a different path. Enai Tsuehua was always eager to learn. Since she had decided to study English, she would not miss any opportunity to learn. In her conversation with Old Tom, she humbly asked him many questions. In a blink of an eye, only Mo Qixin and Enai Yang were left in the manor. Once Enai Tsuehua was completely out of sight, Mo Qishan finally dared to hold Enai Yang's hand. Sweetheart, I missed you so much. What a death wish. Enai Yang gave Mo Qishan an icy stare. In front of Enai Tsuehua, he was a good boy, but before her, he was a wolf in sheep's clothing. Do you know? My mom is always worried that I will bully you. Enai Yang continued. Mo Qishan said in surprise. Looks like our mother really approves of her son-in-law. Enai Yang. The two of them chatted and walked. Everything they passed by was magnificent. Brother Mo, how much did you spend to buy this manor? Enai Yang asked. I can't remember. He truly couldn't remember. Rich people can be so willful. Enai Yang summarized. Enai Yang then continued. They say men become bad when they get rich. Brother Mo, will you? I want. Mo Qishan added. Because all my money is yours. Enai Yang smiled. She thought, surely no woman could resist such words, right? After speaking, Mo Qishan took out dozens of international bank cards. All my bank cards are here, and I've changed all the passwords to your birthday. Oh, and the deed to this manor as well as the property titles for the houses I've bought in Shanghai and Beijing will all be handed to you later. And the car keys and such, all yours. Enai Yang stood there stunned. Although Mo Qishan had said long ago that all his possessions were hers, she had never really taken it to heart because, in her cognition, no man would willingly offer everything to a woman. Chapter 547. Return home, want to kneel down and call for Brother Yen. Under 2. In her previous life, Enai Yang, as the president of the Enai Corporation, was surrounded by many successful men. Around them, she saw men who upheld power in their households, while flaunting their mistresses outside, with some men even maintaining 7 or 8 mistresses at once. Their wives, even if they knew the truth, would choose to keep their mouths shut, because they were like the cuscuta flower, unable to say no. Those seemingly glamorous wives of rich businessmen lived by relying on men, pleasing men, and lived in a humbled and weak manner. To Enai Yang, what Mo Qishan had generously presented was not just a dozen bank cards, but a sincere and warm heart. Men might act like dogs, yet they could still be worthy of love. Brother Mo, please keep these things. I can't accept them. Why? Mo Qishan was puzzled. Is it because his beloved wife no longer loves him, and wants to find a replacement? Mo Qishan was suddenly flustered. Enai Yang smiled and said, because these are all earned by your efforts. I want to obtain everything I desire with my own hands. Compared to the cuscuta flower, she prefers an equal love. Boss, if you don't want these things, I will keep them for you. After all, they are yours, try as you might to disclaim it. Hearing Enai Yang was not rejecting him, Mo Qishan breathed a sigh of relief. Also, I promise I want change. Mo Qishan added. Enai Yang nodded. By the way, let's go and see the ranch. There are sheep, horses and tuk-tuks there. Sure. The ranch was located behind the castle, covering thousands of square meters. The shepherds and wranglers consisted of a happy family of 3. The father was 45 years old, the mother was 44, and they had a beautiful 19-year-old daughter. The daughter was named Wuxia. Sir, madam. This way, please. Mo Qishan and Enai Yang walked over. There were 2 new tuk-tuks here. A tuk-tuk was somewhat similar to a tractor, but it didn't have a large trailer at the back, only a seat. The sound it made when running was tuk-tuk-tuk. I don't know how to drive this, Enai Yang said, standing by the tuk-tuk with her arms crossed. It looks hard to operate. Wuxia was about to offer to teach Enai Yang, but Mo Qishan intervened. I can teach you. Hearing this, Wuxia tactfully stepped aside, leaving the space to the 2 of them. Mo Qishan climbed onto the tuk-tuk and reached out his hand to Enai Yang. Yang, come on up. Enai Yang placed her hand in Mo Qishan's and deftly climbed onto the tuk-tuk. Mo Qishan legitimately pulled her into his arms and began teaching her how to drive the tuk-tuk, hands over hers. The ranch was flat and open, with no obstacles, so the tuk-tuk could run freely. Enai Yang was a quick learner, so she caught on after Mo Qishan taught her once. Brother Mo, I've learned it. You can get down now. No, you haven't learned it. Mo Qishan wouldn't get off. It was at this moment that Emochishin discovered that having a wife who was too smart was not necessarily a good thing. I really have learned it. No, you really haven't. And Young knew his intention and laughed. Okay, I haven't learned it. Could Mr. Emo teach me a little longer? It is my duty to serve my wife, Emochishin said contentedly, resting his chin on Yang's shoulder. It was really refreshing to drive the tuk-tuk on the open grassland. It wasn't until an hour later that they got off the tuk-tuk. They lay on the soft grass, hands behind their heads, gazing at the blue sky. To be exact, Yang was looking at the blue sky, while Emochishin was looking at her. Sometimes the eyes can be wide enough to encompass all the wealth in the world or narrow enough to only fit her. Emochishin looked at her. The corners of his mouth unconsciously curled up in a faint smile. The gentle wind blew from afar, and all the peaceful years were not as comforting and enjoyable as this moment. Brother Emo, we are planning to go to New York tomorrow and return to our country on the 20th. Yang said, turning her head to look at Emochishin. Today is the 14th, so there are still 6 days until the 20th. Emochishin, surprised, said, Why are you going back so soon? It's not easy to get to M country. Why don't you stay a few more days? We arrived on the 2nd of this month. Yang laughed. By the 20th, we would have already been here for half a month. Emochishin continued. Go back at the end of the month. Stay at the castle for a few more days. Yang thought for a moment. We can stay one more day and go to New York the day after tomorrow. It was their honeymoon period, and in fact, she also didn't want to part with Emochishin. Stay a few more days. Chapter 548. Want to return to my country, kneel down and call for Brother Yen. _3. No, we must still leave some time to travel around New York. And in New York, there's the Statue of Liberty, but at this time, the Statue of Liberty had yet to be transported over. The Statue of Liberty was packed up and shipped to New York in June 1885, and in October 1886, it was unveiled by the then president of M Country himself in New York. In her previous life, Yang visited New York many times and saw the Statue of Liberty just as often, but she's never seen the Hudson River estuary at Liberty Island without the Statue of Liberty. This time, she wanted to go over and take some photos as keepsakes. In that case, I'll go with you. Emochishin followed up. Yang reached out to pinch Emochishin's face. Brother Emo, go take care of your business. You don't have to accompany us, really. What kinds of things would I have to do? Now, accompanying his wife and mother-in-law is the most important thing. Everything else, to Emochishin, was insignificant and not worth mentioning. Brother Emo, I'm serious. I really don't need your company. Yang didn't want to hold up Emochishin's work because of herself. But I just want to accompany you. Emochishin resorted to acting shamelessly. I'm like an adhesive plaster, darling. You won't be able to shake me off for the rest of your life. When he finished speaking, he reached out directly and brought her into his arms. Lucia watched the two of them, sprawling on the lawn, a look of envy in her eyes. Growing up in this ranch, she knew how wonderful being wealthy can be. That wealth basically allows for one to live as they please. It's not so much Emochishin's wealth she's envious of, but more in Yang. How nice it is to be beautiful. Doing nothing, yet having people willing to give everything for her. Before meeting Yang, she thought she herself was pretty beautiful, but after meeting Yang, she understood. She couldn't even be considered a pale imitation in the eyes of the Chinese. When will she be like Yang, meeting someone who would give her everything? Lucia looked up towards the sky. For the rest of the day, Yang romped around the entire castle with Emochishin. Their laughter echoed in every nook and cranny of the castle. On the second day, Emochishin went to New York with them. Emochishin owns property in New York. A helicopter took them directly to his villa. The Hudson River estuary at Liberty Island without the Statue of Liberty felt like it was missing something. Yang handed her camera to Emochishin. Brother Emo, take a picture for us. All right. Emochishin took the camera. Xiaoma, come over and take a group photo with us. Tsuehua spoke up. Emochishin looked somewhat flattered. He handed the camera to a passerby. In New York, of course, you can't miss the museum. It was once said that New York would lose half of its charm if it didn't have its museum. After visiting the museum, they went to the Brooklyn Bridge, a 100-year-old suspension bridge that spans the East River in New York, connecting Manhattan and the Brooklyn district. Standing on the bridge, you could see the Manhattan skyline. The good times always passed swiftly. In the blink of an eye it was the 19th, and the next day was when In-Young would return home, so she went shopping at the mall that day. Yang, I won't go. I'm too tired from these few days. You go with Xiaoma. On one hand, In-Hua wanted to give the two some alone time. On the other hand, she was just genuinely tired. She pretty much didn't rest these few days, and sightseeing can be rather draining. In-Young nodded. All right, you rest well then. Mo-Chishan and I will go. Oh Mom, is there anything you want to buy? I don't have anything I want to buy. In-Hua shook her head. She had already bought quite a lot during their trip. Mo-Chishan followed In-Young out the door. Your mom is really great. Of course, how else would she be my mom? In-Young boasted a little. The two of them arrived at the mall. This was a major shopping center in the heart of New York City. Its splendor gave In-Young a sense of déjà vu, reminding her of her future life. In-Young first went to the pen section, buying that Parker pen for Liranghua. $30, about 240 renminbi. Mo-Chishan wanted to pay, but In-Young stopped him. Brother Mo, you're not allowed to pay today. Why? Mo-Chishan looked aggrieved. Because I have money. Mo-Chishan had already spent quite a bit on this trip, and In-Young didn't want him to bear all the expenses. Mo-Chishan wanted to say something else, but In-Young continued. What did you say last time? You said you'd listen to me in everything. It hasn't been that long, and you've forgotten already? Chapter 549. Want to return to my country, kneel down and call Brother Yen. _4. Alright then. Mo-Chishan touched his nose. Money doesn't matter anyway, as all his money is his wife's. After buying the pen, In-Young also bought several scarves and bags, which she planned to give as gifts. She also bought some jewelry from the jewelry store, and picked up some gifts for Mo's parents. While In-Young was on a shopping spree, Mo-Chishan was following her, holding her shopping items. In no time, Mo-Chishan's hands were filled with shopping bags. When they passed by a men's clothing store, In-Young suddenly stopped. Wait a moment, bro Mo? What's up? Mo-Chishan looked confused. Let's go in and have a look. In-Young turned around and walked into the store. All right. Mo-Chishan followed her into the store. This trench coat seems nice. In-Young was standing in front of a dark blue trench coat. Bro Mo, you should try it on. In-Young took off the trench coat and stuffed it into Mo-Chishan's arms. Mo-Chishan looked at In-Young with a hint of surprise. He did not anticipate that In-Young would buy clothes for him. The happiness came too suddenly, didn't it? What are you standing there for? Come on, try it on. In-Young smiled. Madam, you have a great taste. This is a new item that just arrived in our store. The saleswoman walked over with a smile. What material is this? In-Young asked. It's wool and cotton. Oh. In-Young nodded. She then pushed Mo-Chishan towards the fitting room. Quickly go and try it on, I'll wait for you here. When Mo-Chishan came out of the fitting room, In-Young was mildly stunned for a moment. He was standing against the light, sprinkled with specks of crystalline lighting, casting a faint halo around him. He had an unapproachable aura, wild yet rebellious. The knee-length trench coat accentuated his long legs like he is 1.8 meters tall. His wristwatch, with a chill glint, peeked out from his sleeve, adding an innate noble touch to his persona. He exuded sharpness and an edge as if he had seen it all. He would definitely outshine all those arrogant CEOs in the novels. Not bad, very handsome. In-Young nodded. She went over to adjust Mo-Chishan's collar. Mo-Chishan smiled. How could I not look good in clothes chosen by my wife? In-Young laughed. Then well, take this one. As she spoke, In-Young went to the cashier to pay. The trench coat was $500. The few $1,000s that In-Young brought along were long spent. Fortunately, you could directly exchange for USD at banks in M country. After buying the clothes, the couple went to a restaurant for lunch. By the time they returned to Mo Kishin's villa, it was already past 3 o'clock in the afternoon. The next morning, Mo Kishin drove Yang and her friends to the airport. If time permitted, Mo Kishin would even be willing to fly back with them. Yang. Just as Mo Kishin had said goodbye in the departure hall, he saw a 17 to 18 years old female student running towards them. Emily. Yang stood up and waved at her. Emily ran directly up to them and hugged Yang. Mo Kishin was a bit confused at the sight. Why would they hug? He wouldn't even dare to hug his wife like that in front of his mother-in-law. Yang, are you guys leaving today? Emily let go of Yang after a moment. Yang nodded. Yes. Oh, this is my boyfriend Mo Kishin. Bro Mo, this is Emily, my good friend from country. The first sentence was in English, and the second in Chinese. The switch between the two languages was very smooth. Mo Kishin greeted her gracefully, hello. Hello. As soon as she finished speaking, Emily whispered into Yang's ear. Oh my God. Your boyfriend is so handsome. Thank you. Yang smiled slightly. Yang, could you send me a few sets of beauty skin after you go back home? I've got 2 roommates who also want to buy it. We all want the whitening moisturizer, and one of us wants the acne cream. No need for the wrinkle cream. After all, they were all young students and didn't need anti-wrinkle products yet. Sure. Yang nodded. Are 5 sets enough? Yes, that's enough, Emily nodded, then took out $200 from her pocket and handed it to Yang. That was the equivalent of 1,600 renminbi. Yang took out $12.50 from her pocket and gave it back to Emily. 5 sets of beauty skin only cost 1,500 renminbi. Emily refused to take it. Keep the change as a tip. Yang stuffed the money back into Emily's hand. Friends don't need tips. Chapter 550. Returning to my country, I feel like kneeling down and calling for Brother Yen. _5. Emily finally accepted the gift. Wishing you, your aunt, and Yen a smooth journey. Yang smiled. Thank you. Mo Kishin was now a bit impressed with Yang's social skills. He hadn't anticipated that in such a short time, she not only made good friends, but also successfully sold her product. If this was the case, it wouldn't be long until they could break into country's market with the Ice Skin Jade product. She was amazing. His wife was truly amazing. At 7:30 in the morning, Yang and Tsuehua were on time for their flight. He didn't know what Mo Kishin did, but the airport staff actually let him go to the boarding gate. Before boarding, he suddenly hugged Yang. Remember to think of me, wife. Yang patted his back. Will thinking of you 3 times a day be enough? Only 3 times? Mo Kishin was a bit disappointed. Yang smiled lightly. Isn't it enough to think of you once in the morning, afternoon and evening? Brother Mo, don't be too greedy. Well, I guess that would be just about enough. Mo Kishin deeply inhaled the scent of her hair. He watched as the time for the flight to take off was approaching and reluctantly let her go. Goodbye, Brother Mo. Mo Kishin went inside the cabin and waved goodbye to him. Bye-bye. The airplane flew further and further away, eventually disappearing into the clouds, and a certain man's heart also flew away with it. When they arrived at Beijing Airport, it was 7 o'clock the next morning. As soon as Yang got off the plane, she saw Wu Daming waiting there. He waved excitedly at Yang. 6th sister-in-law, aunt over here. Wu Daming, how did you know to come here? Yang was a bit surprised because she hadn't told Wu Daming when she would return. 6th brother asked me to pick you up. Although Mo Kishin was abroad, the two could communicate via international calls. When Mo Kishin was abroad, Wu Daming was in charge of handling affairs at home. Yang nodded. Oh, I see. Thanks for the trouble. It's no trouble, Wu Daming scratched his head. Everyone got in the car. Tsuehua happily said, Xiao is really a good boy. Did you find a girlfriend this year? Wu Daming's face turned a little red. Not yet. The elders always like to worry about these issues. How old are you this year, Xiao? Tsuehua continued to ask. Aunt, I'm 23 this year. 23? You're not young at 23, you should find a girlfriend. When I was your age, Yang Yang was already 4 years old. And Suehua added. Wu Daming said. Perhaps it's just not my time yet. My family has introduced me to several girls, but I haven't met the right one yet. He had built a 3-story Western-style house in his hometown last year, and since then there had been a constant stream of matchmaking options. But there were very few girls who were to his liking. After all, they were to spend their lifetimes together. It wouldn't be suitable if they couldn't get along. Xiaowu, Auntie here knows a nice girl. She's very pretty and has a good personality. Do you want me to introduce her to you? Really? Wu Daming looked surprised. And Suehua nodded. And Yang, curious, asked, Mom, who are you thinking of introducing to Wu Daming? There were quite a few 18 or 19-year-old girls in Jinghua village, but Yang didn't know who had caught Kuihua's eye. Gooden's sister, Ronghua. Suehua answered. Li Ronghua was beautiful and considerate, and she had helped Suehua a lot, so Suehua really liked this girl. Moreover, Wu Daming was a good prospect. If Li Ronghua ended up with him, she certainly wouldn't have a hard life. Yang laughed. Mom, Sister Ronghua already has a boyfriend. Maybe you can introduce someone else to Wu Daming? She has a boyfriend? How come I haven't heard of it? Suehua said incredulously. Yang, are you mistaken? No, I'm not mistaken. On this trip to M country, she even asked me to bring a pen for her boyfriend. I see. Suehua looked regretful. Right after, Suehua continued. But Xiaowu, don't worry. Besides this girl, I know other young girls. I will definitely introduce someone suitable to you. Wu Daming laughed. Thank you, Auntie. Why are you still being so polite with Auntie? Soon, they arrived at Jinghua village. Before getting out of the car, Yang took a small gift box out of her luggage and handed it to Wu Daming. Wu Daming, this is a gift for you. Sixth sister-in-law, you're too polite. I can't accept this. Mostly because he wanted to stay safe and well. He wasn't daring enough to accept it. Chapter 551. Want to return home? Kneel down and call for Brother Yen. _6. Yang knew his concerns and laughingly said, Don't worry, this gift was purchased by Mo and me together. He personally selected it for you. Really? Wu Daming was somewhat incredulous. Yes. Yang nodded affirmatively. Yang was not fooling him. This gift was indeed personally chosen by Mo Qishan for Wu Daming. Although Mo Qishan was often jealous, he wasn't unreasonably so. If he did not trust Wu Daming, he wouldn't have allowed Daming to drive Yang back and forth. Only then did Wu Daming accept it. Thank you then, sister-in-law. You're welcome. Yang carried on. Well, be heading back now, you should too. Let me accompany you back, sister-in-law. This suitcase seems quite heavy. The village roads were rough, the luggage tough to drag about. It was better to carry it on the shoulder. Yang laughed. That won't be necessary. You might not be able to handle the weight. Can't handle it? How could he as a grown man not be able to manage it? Wu Daming laughed. Sister-in-law, you underestimate me. Having said so, he grabbed the suitcase. It was so heavy. No way. He was a man. He had to uphold his masculine pride. Wu Daming gritted his teeth, putting his utmost strength into it, his face turning red, but the suitcase still could not be lifted. Yang laughed. All right, let me. You should head back now. While Yang was speaking, she grasped the suitcase's handle and effortlessly lifted it onto her shoulder. What the hell? Big boss. Wu Daming was astounded. Was he hallucinating? Sister-in-law is so powerful. Wu Daming swallowed nervously, feeling some inexplicable worry for Mo Qishan's future domestic position. Yang strutted all the way home, carrying the suitcase. If you spoke of dominance, this was it. Wu Daming thought he perhaps shouldn't address Yang as sister-in-law. He should kneel and call her Brother Yang instead. On the way home, Yang encountered many villagers busy with field work. Hey Yang's mom, Yang's back, huh? Is M country fun? Is M country all that different from ours? Suehua had a bag on her shoulder, filled with M country snacks. She shared these with everyone, while talking about the things she saw and experienced in M country. While M country was fun, it doesn't compare to our China. The food wasn't good either, they don't even have the snow radish. We took a lot of pictures. You all are welcome to come over to our house to see them whenever you're free. There were more and more people out working in the fields, and more people gathering around Suehua. And Yang saw they didn't seem about to disperse, and decided to head home carrying the suitcase. And Yang was still at the entrance when Duo enthusiastically flew over, circled above Yang Yang's head and finally landed on her other shoulder. Chirp, chirp. Duo. And Yang felt warm inside. She turned her head, and nuzzled Duo's little head with her cheek. Upon returning home, the first thing Yang did was to take out the imported bird food she had bought for Duo. Fearing Quihua's snacks weren't enough to share, after feeding Duo, and Yang brought another big bag of imported snacks over to Tsuehua. Seeing Yang brought more treats, the villagers exclaimed, "Yang's mom, you really raised a good daughter. Our 3 sons combined can't compare to your Yang. Isn't it? If it wasn't for Yang, could our village be enjoying such good times now?" Chapter 552. Reminder for Li Ronghua to go to Dr. Wang's house _1 now. The villagers in Jinghua village no longer grow rice, but mainly grow roses, portulaca, and aloe vera instead. In the past, they could save up to about 180 yuan a year. Now they can make 100 to 200 yuan a month just from roses and aloe vera. Add to that, some of them also have family members working in Yang's factory and store, so they make at least 300 yuan a month. People with high salaries like Li Ronghua and Chinggui are still in the minority. After all, not many can be store managers. But in the 1980s, it was quite wealthy for a family to have an income of 300 yuan per month. After all, a worker only made 30 yuan a month at that time. It's Yang who made Jinghua village what it is today. Tsuehua wore a radiant smile on her face. More than once, she had felt fortunate to have a good daughter like Yang. If it hadn't been for Yang, she couldn't even begin to imagine the life she would be leading now. On the other side, after Wu Daming got in the car, he couldn't wait to unwrap the gift that Yang had given him. In the gift box was a delicate game console. He had wanted to buy this game console for a long time, but he had never brought himself to. Unexpectedly, Yang was so generous, and the gift was worth more than 300 yuan. In fact, Chishan is not stingy at all. He is very generous to Wu Daming, and even raised his monthly salary to 800 yuan. However, Wu Daming was born into poverty. He grew up in hard times. There were even times when he had to eat guanyin mud to stave off hunger. So he doesn't want to spend money lavishly. Every month he would send home 100 yuan to support his family, and save the rest for his future wife and child. He doesn't want his future wife and child to go through the same hardships that he had. He spent over 20,000 yuan on building a house last year. Although Wu Daming hasn't saved much this year, he is still much better off than an average worker. After all, his monthly salary equals the wages of a regular worker for 2 years. Wu Daming was studying the game console in the car when he suddenly felt someone bang on the car door frantically. Filled with anger, Wu immediately wound down the window, but before he could say anything, the other person began to curse him. "Hey, what's your problem? You think you're special because you have a car? Do you think parking in the middle of the road is okay? Can't you see you're blocking the way? You look like a decent man. Why do you act so poorly?" The person cursing him was a young girl. She was very beautiful, albeit a bit fiery. "I'm sorry. I'll move it right away." Seeing that Wu Daming had quickly apologized, her anger lessened a bit. It was none other than Li Ronghua, who was off work that day. She was transporting some rose seedlings to plant in her field, when she came across the path blocking Wu Daming. It's not entirely her fault that she got angry. She had been shouting from behind his car for several minutes, but the person inside hadn't responded at all. So she left her cart, and came over to knock on the car window. Li Ronghua had never been in a car before. She didn't know that the car was soundproofed, so she thought Wu Daming was deliberately ignoring her. After Wu moved his car to a small road on the left, Li Ronghua went back, pulled up her cart, and continued her journey. In addition to rose seedlings, there were also organic fertilizers on the cart, which made it very heavy, especially because it was an uphill path here. Ronghua, being a girl, found it hard to pull the heavy cart uphill. Seeing this, Wu Daming quickly got out of the car to help her push the cart. Li Ronghua suddenly felt much lighter on her shoulder, and she managed to climb the slope. Looking back, she saw that it was the driver from before who had helped her. At least you have some conscience. Wu Daming smiled awkwardly, thinking to himself, this girl is really hard to get along with. Whoever marries her in the future will truly be unfortunate. Ronghua didn't add anything more, and continued pulling her cart. Wu Daming also drove away. In M country, after applying the anti-wrinkle cream on the back of her hand for 3 days, Caroline began to use it on her face. After using it for a week, the changes on Caroline's face were significant. The wrinkles around her eyes were disappearing at a visible speed. It was a new change every day. Caroline was overjoyed. She quickly found her good friend Annie. Annie, what's up, Caroline? Caroline excitedly said. Annie, look at my face. Confused, Annie said. What about your face? Have you started using that bottle of anti-wrinkle cream? Chapter 553. Reminder for Li Ronghua to go to Dr. Wang's house _2. Yes, Annie said excitedly. Dear, look at my face. Aren't there fewer wrinkles? That was when Annie noticed Caroline's face. It wasn't clear if it was an illusion, but upon closer inspection, it seemed like there were indeed fewer wrinkles on Caroline's face. Could it be that skincare products from China really were that miraculous? Annie continued, Caroline, have you been using any other skincare products during this period? Perhaps this was the effect of some other skincare products. No. Caroline shook her head. I have only been using the anti-wrinkle cream during this period. The anti-wrinkle cream from the brand Ice Skin Jade is truly exceptional. Could you ask Emily to buy a few more bottles from her friend? To avoid confusion, Caroline specifically stopped using other skincare products. It was not easy finding an effective skincare product, so she was quite excited at this time, wanting to buy several bottles of anti-wrinkle cream immediately, as it made her feel secure. Annie frowned slightly and said, Dear, don't get too excited. Some skincare products only show their real efficacy in the long run. You have only been using it for a few days. A backward place like China. How could there possibly be such a fantastic wrinkle cream? When it came to skincare products, sometimes they worked well initially, but became less effective later on, or even produced side effects. Caroline calmed down a bit because what Annie said made sense. She seemed to have celebrated a bit too soon. Then I shall continue using it for a while. Caroline added. Annie nodded. Usually you'll see the effects after using it for a month. Caroline, if you feel uncomfortable, remember to go to the hospital immediately. This isn't a joking matter. Caroline nodded. Yes, I understand. Jinghua Village, China. After Enai Yang got home, Yang Xiaowan told her. A man introducing himself as Dr. Wang had come looking for her. Dr. Wang. Enai Yang thought for a while, then said, Is he an old man with white hair and a white beard? Yes, it's him, Yang Xiaowan said. But there was also an old man with him. He said he had something to discuss with you, but he didn't say what it was. If Dr. Wang was seeking her out, he likely wanted to discuss medical issues. Enai Yang said, We'll go see him tomorrow then. Since she was back from M country, she should pay Dr. Wang a visit. Yang Xiaowan said, I delivered the message. Yang, I'll head back to work now. Auntie Yang, wait a moment. Enai Yang called out to the departing figure of Yang Xiaowan. Yang Xiaowan asked, Yang, is there anything else? Enai Yang took out over a dozen beautiful small gift boxes from her suitcase and handed them to Yang Xiaowan. Auntie Yang, these are presents that I brought back from M country for you and everyone else. Could you help me distribute them? There were only 12 workers temporarily handling production in the skincare workshop. Although it was a small team, their output was not low, sufficient to supply 3 retail stores. After all, skincare products only required small bottles. Yang Xiaowan was slightly embarrassed. Yang, you're too courteous. Even when you are traveling such a long distance, you still thought about getting us presents. Enai Yang was truly a good boss. Not only did she offer a high salary, she also gave bonuses during holidays. Even when she had gone to M country, she did not forget about them. In this era, finding a good boss was truly hard. Some jobs even required nepotistic connections to secure. And I Young laughed. It's not anything expensive as long as you don't mind. We don't mind. We don't mind at all. Why would we mind? Young Shaowan went to the workshop and distributed the gifts I Young had sent. Let's see what's inside. Whatever Yang Yang gave is sure to be good. This is real imported stuff. Wow. It's a watch. A voice filled with joy sounded from the crowd. A lovely lattice watch, small and delicate strap. And the watch face decorated with tiny diamonds which shimmered under the light, emitting a rainbow glow. In this era, a watch was a rare thing. Only those from well-off families would buy one, usually as part of a wedding ceremony. Even though they knew that whatever I Young gave would not be disappointing, who could have imagined that I Young would give each person a wristwatch? I have seen this watch in the international market. It costs more than 200 yuan. And it can only be bought with foreign exchange coupons. Chapter 554. Reminder for Li Ronghua to go to Dr. Wang's house _3. Yang Yang is so generous. Last month my younger brother's wife bought a shabby watch for a few dozen yuan and bragged about it in front of me for ages. Just wait until I go back home with my holiday souvenirs and give her a taste of her own medicine. How lucky is it that our village has such a little blessing like Yang Yang? Absolutely. The neighboring villages are green with envy. I heard from the village chief that many people are eager to move to our village. Dreaming about taking Yang Yang away from us? No chance. Li Ronghua heard about I Yang's return when it was already past 5 in the late afternoon. She rushed to the I family's house immediately. Yang Yang, did you bring the Parker pen for me? She had planned to surprise her boyfriend, so she certainly couldn't let him down. Although Li Ronghua was quite fiery, she was truly good to her boyfriend, and she was willing to give everything for him. Yes, I did. I Young nodded, taking out the pen case from her bag and handing it to Li Ronghua. Li Ronghua threw her arms around I Young in excitement. Yang Yang, thank you so much. You're welcome. I Young, whose ears still echoed with the conversation she had overheard at the airport, then added, Sister Ronghua, have you ever visited your boyfriend's house? I have, Li Ronghua nodded. I've been there many times. What do you think of your boyfriend's parents? I Young continued to ask. They're quite nice. Li Ronghua responded happily. My boyfriend's parents are factory workers and their living conditions are pretty decent. Apart from my boyfriend, they also have a daughter who is in high school. I Young nodded slightly. Oh, are you planning to visit your boyfriend's house again soon? The last time at the airport, she had vaguely heard an aunt saying that a girl who had been courting her son was going to visit their home next month. At these words, Li Ronghua blushed and replied, Yes, I'm going there early next month. I Yang's heart thumped. Could it really be that the pursuing girl who was being mentioned is Li Ronghua? As a friend and superior of Li Ronghua, I Young couldn't just stand by and watch Li Ronghua jump into the fire. That family, including Li Ronghua's boyfriend, didn't value Li Ronghua at all. So, I Young then told Li Ronghua about the conversation she overheard at the airport. Hearing this, Li Ronghua chuckled. Yang Yang, don't worry. My boyfriend's mother is a very good person. She would never say that. Did you buy your boyfriend a pair of sneakers for 68 yuan? I Young remembered that the aunt at the airport had bragged about it. I did. But I am not the only one who bought that brand of sneakers for my boyfriend. It could be someone else. Li Ronghua had been dating her boyfriend for 3 years. She had full trust in him. When faced with this situation, the first thing she thought of was pure coincidence. If her boyfriend would deceive her, then there wouldn't be any good men left in this world. I Young gave her advices to this point and felt like it is better not to say too much. Sister Ronghua, there are a lot of hypocritical people around pretending to be good people. You must be vigilant and must not be deceived. You must have spent quite a lot on your boyfriend over the years, right? Li Ronghua then responded. It's all my own will. My boyfriend is a man of strong self-esteem. He never actively asks for anything from me, and I believe he will definitely achieve greatness in the future. Sister Ronghua. Li Ronghua laughed and interrupted Yang Yang. Yang Yang, I know you're worried about me. I can assure you that my boyfriend is definitely not like that. And besides, do I look easy to scam? Enai Yang smiled faintly. As long as you are sure, Sister Ronghua. Yang Yang, thank you for bringing me the pen. By the way, is 200 yuan enough for that pen? How much do I owe you? Li Ronghua is considerate and sensible as well. The Parker pen costs 240 yuan. Li Ronghua only gave 200. Enai Yang was not a small-minded person and laughed as she said, "It's enough, isn't 200 yuan enough to buy a pen? Oh, and Sister Ronghua, here's a gift I brought for you from the M country." Enai Yang picked up a small gift box and handed it to Li Ronghua. Li Ronghua was surprised and said, "Yang Yang, you even brought me a gift?" "Yes." Enai Yang nodded. "Oh, and this is for Gooden, and this is for Changshou." Li Changshou is Gooden's older brother, who had previously lent study materials to Enai Yang. Chapter 555. Reminder for Li Ronghua to go to Dr. Wang's house _4. Yang Yang, you're really being too polite. Li Ronghua, somewhat embarrassed, received the 3 little boxes that Enai Yang handed to her. Having grown up so much now, this is the first time Li Ronghua had ever received a gift, and the feeling was quite peculiar. Enai Yang laughed and said, "No need to be so polite, it's not anything of high value." Li Ronghua returned home with her things. After getting home, she was so eager that she immediately opened the gift box from Enai Yang. Inside was a very nice-looking watch. Li Ronghua happily put it on. When Gooden and Li Changshou returned home, Li Ronghua tossed the 2 gift boxes at them. "Here, these are from Yang Yang." Li Changshou managed to remain calm. Gooden jumped with joy. "Sister Enai Yang is back." "Really? Sister? You better not be fooling me." Usually, Gooden would just call Li Ronghua by her name, but today, amazingly, he called Li Ronghua sister. Li Ronghua laughed and said, "Am I your real sister, or is Yang Yang? If people didn't know, they'd think Yang Yang was your real sister." Gooden didn't even have time to unwrap the gift. He just ran outside, heading straight for the Enai family's courtyard. "Sister Enai Yang." "Gooden." Enai Yang pulled aside the door curtain and came out. Gooden rushed straight towards her and hugged Enai Yang. "Sister Enai Yang, I missed you so much." Tweet. Just at that moment, a dark shadow swooped down and pecked a large bite on Gooden's face. "Bad Duo. Stinky Duo. Why did you peck me?" Gooden let go of Enai Yang and attempted to hit Duo, but couldn't reach him because Duo flew too high. Gooden stopped bothering with Duo, the evil bird, proceeded to walk to Enai Yang's side, and hugged Enai Yang again. "Sister Enai Yang, when did you come back?" Just as he finished his sentence, Duo swooped down again and pecked Gooden's face once more. "Stinky Duo. What's wrong with hugging Sister Enai Yang?" Tweet. Duo pecked once again. Having no choice, Gooden had to let go of Enai Yang, only then did Duo stop. Enai Yang could barely hold back her smile. In fact, she had noticed that apart from Mo Qishan, Duo would not spare any male who approached her. Even if they were just boys, Duo would just attack. Also, Duo played only with girls. If a boy dared to tease it or feed it, Duo would just peck them without hesitation. This isn't just any evil bird. This is clearly a perverted bird. "Sister Enai Yang, you haven't told me when you got back." This time, Gooden wisely refrained from hugging Enai Yang again. Enai Yang smiled and replied, "I got home around 7 this morning." Gooden hit his head with regret. "Sister Enai Yang, I can't believe I didn't know you came back so early. By the way, does Debeo know you're back?" "I suppose he doesn't." Gooden laughed and said, "That's good. Luckily I'm not the last one to know about your return." "Oh, Sister Enai Yang, thanks for the gift from M country. I really loved it." Even though he didn't know what gift Enai Yang had prepared for him, as long as it came from her, he would love it very much. Even if it's a heap of dog poop. "I'm glad you like it." Enai Yang reached out and gently touched his head. "Where's Yunyan? Didn't she come back with you?" Gooden asked next. "Yunyan is in the inner room." "Then I'll go play with Yunyan." "Go ahead." Enai Yang nodded. It was already past 5 at this time, so Enai Yang started preparing dinner. She hadn't eaten Chinese food for a long while, and she planned to fully enjoy a big meal tonight. She'd start with boiled meat, then squirrel fish, mapo tofu, braised pork belly, tomato stew with beef brisket, fried shrimp with green peas, sour and spicy ear mushrooms, and vegetable tofu soup. Although there are only 3 adults and a child to serve, and Yang believed they could definitely finish it all. In fact, everything happened exactly as Yang predicted. At dinner time, Chinggui was thrilled. Yang, you're finally back. You have no idea how long it's been since I last enjoyed such delicious food. Yang laughed and said, well, then you should eat a lot tonight. Of course. Chinggui then asked, how's country, Yang? Is it any different from here? Tsuehua replied, actually, it's not that special. There's loads of sea. Also, the people there are quite open-minded. You can see young girls on the street wearing ultra-short skirts, showing off their long legs. Also, some people there are extremely dark-skinned while others are extremely white. According to Yang, the dark-skinned people have a particular low status. Chapter 556. Reminder for Li Ronghua to go to Dr. Wang's house _5. Chinggui listened very seriously, also filled with yearning. She wondered when her daughter could take her abroad for a trip. Unfortunately, this was a wish that could never be fulfilled. Tsuehua continued, we took a lot of photos. After dinner, Sister Chinggui, you can come to my room to look at them. Sure. Chinggui nodded eagerly. Despite planning to watch TV in Quihua's room after dinner, Chinggui voluntarily washed the dishes. Yang had worked hard to cook the meal. It was only right that she cleaned up. Having washed the dishes, Chinggui went to Quihua's room, where Tsuehua showed her the photos they had taken in country. Oh my, these foreigners are so open-minded. There are so many people on the beach, and they just dress like this? Yes, there are even more revealing outfits. Huh, Xiaomo went with you to country too. Chinggui noticed a photo of Mo Qishan and Yang posing together in front of a castle. Tsuehua shook her head. Xiaomo didn't go with us. He works in country. Chinggui continued to exclaim. Yang's mom, just look at Xiaomo and Yang together. They are such a perfect match, looking just like a wedding portrait. They are even more charming than the movie stars on television. You not only gave birth to a good daughter, but also found a great son-in-law. Chinggui truly envied Tsuehua, and at the same time, she felt fortunate to have met Yang and her mother on the train that day. Otherwise, her life would have been different. When Chinggui was about to go to bed, Tsuehua handed her a gift box. Sister Chinggui, this is a gift Yang bought for you. Yang is too polite, she brought me a gift. Sister Chinggui, we are indebted to you for helping us settle in Beijing. Tsuehua held Chinggui's hand. If they hadn't met Chinggui on the train, they would have been homeless when they first arrived in Beijing. Chinggui replied, Yang's mother, it's because you two are good people that people accepted you so quickly. Many people from out of town wanted to settle down in Jinghua village, but they all failed. After a pause, Chinggui added, Yang is really a good child. If she were my daughter, I'd wake up from my dreams laughing. Tsuehua continued, Sister Chinggui, Chunhua married and lives so far away. Haven't you ever thought about finding someone? At your age, you could still have another child. Having lived with Chinggui for more than a year, Tsuehua had come to regard her as her own sister. Seeing Chinggui so lonely truly pained Tsuehua. As a single mother herself, she understood that Chinggui had not had it easy, and yet Chinggui was only 46 years old. What would she do when she grew old if she continued to live alone? Although society was conservative in those days, there were still many women who remarried. Chinggui sighed. Finding someone isn't so simple. If you meet someone unsuitable, you are better off alone. After her husband's death, she was introduced to several men, none of whom were suitable. Gradually, Chinggui stopped thinking about these things. With Tsuehua and Yang at home, she did not feel lonely. But after they went away, Chinggui struggled to adapt. Returning to an empty home and seeing the deserted yard made her very sad, and filled her with an indescribable grief. Perhaps, she really needed to find someone to share her life with. What about you? Yang's mom? You are several years younger than I am. Haven't you thought about finding someone too? Is it because Yang disagrees? Enai Chingui inquired. Enai Yang didn't look like someone unreasonable. Enai Tsuehua replied. It's not that Yang disagrees. I just don't want to find someone right now. Little Yunyan is still very young, and Yang hasn't stabilized her career yet. It's not the right time to think about these things. Enai Chingui nodded. That makes sense. But if you meet someone suitable, you could consider it. Enai Tsuehua smiled. Well, see. Enai Chingui then said. Okay then, I won't disturb you and little Yanyan's sleep. I'm going back to my room. Thank you for Yang gift. And thank her for always remembering her aunt. The familial love her daughter never made her feel was embodied by Enai Yang. Enai Tsuehua escorted Enai Chingui to the door. Sister Chingui, listen to what you're saying. Aren't we sisters now? It's only right for Yang to respect you. Chapter 557. Reminder for Li Ronghua to go to Dr. Wang's house _6. After Chengui went back home, he unwrapped the gift to find inside a very soft silk scarf, along with a very fashionable dress. The logo on the dress consisted of 2 CS back-to-back. Chengui had seen this type of dress in the upscale clothing store in town, but she didn't dare buy it as it cost 300 yuan. She remembered that she pointed out the dress when she saw it, but didn't expect Enai Yang not only remembered it, but also bought it for her. Enai Yang even treated her better than her own daughter. The next day, Enai Yang made a trip to the store. She did not go empty-handed, but brought with her the gifts she brought back from M Country. Everyone was curious to know what M Country was like, and Enai Yang found no annoyance in explaining it in detail. After Enai Yang left, everyone unwrapped the gifts and discovered a very exquisite watch inside. They were all extremely thrilled. The watch alone cost over 200 yuan, which was equivalent to almost half a year's wages for everyone. Upon leaving the store, Enai Yang proceeded to visit Dr. Wang Yili. As luck would have it, when she arrived, Dr. Wang wasn't home. So Enai Yang took out a pen from her pocket and left a note on the door of Wang Yili's house. Enai Yang was biking down the shady lane, her hair fluttering in the breeze, when a young couple passed by her. The boy glanced back at Enai Yang, his heartbeat losing its rhythm momentarily. After so many days, it seemed Enai Yang had become even more beautiful. Squad leader A, what are you looking at? Inquired the girl next to him out of curiosity. This sight seemed to overlap with a similar sight from a year ago, making Li Wei feel faintly bewildered. Nothing. Li Wei turns his head back around. So squad leader, are you really planning on retaking the year? Followed up the girl. Yes, Li Wei nodded his head. Holding back excitement, the girl responded, Squad leader, you're not like me. With your grades, you could easily get into a regular university. Isn't it a shame to retake the year? The girl named Zhang Ming was Li Wei's classmate. She ended up with a score of less than 300 on the college entrance exam, which couldn't even get her into a community college. Hence her choice to retake the year. Li Wei, on the other hand, scored over 500. Why would anyone scoring over 500 possibly choose to retake the year out of nowhere? He must be doing it for her, she thought. With this thought, Zhang Meng felt a sweet sensation in her heart. Li Wei continued. Well, aren't you also retaking the year? We can keep each other company. What she had been contemplating was one matter, but Li Wei's own admission was something else entirely. Zhang Meng looked at Li Wei with deep emotion. Squad leader. Li Wei smiled. Why are you looking at me like that? You're just too good to be true, replied Zhang Meng. By the way, do your parents support your decision to retake the year? Li Wei nodded. They don't have any objections. Your parents are really good people. Zhang Meng continued. So, what schools are you thinking of applying to next year, squad leader? I haven't decided yet. Li Wei replied. Squad leader, with your grades, I'm sure you'll get into a top-tier 985 school, Zhang Meng stated confidently. Li Wei responded. You'd better work hard too. Sure. Zhang Meng nodded solemnly. She was determined not to let Li Wei down. Enai Yang eventually made her way to the Mo family villa by bike. She had brought back presents for the elderly Mr. and Mrs. Mo, from the USA which she had come to deliver. The door was answered by the old butler of the Mo family, who warmly greeted Enai Yang. Miss Enai has arrived. Please come in. And I Young then asked, "Are Butler Missouri and Madame Mo at home?" Chapter 558. The poisoning is serious. Dr. Wang comes to find _1 the old butler continued. The master and madam had to step out for a bit. But they should be back soon. Miss and I, please come in and sit. Okay. And I Young nodded and followed the old butler inside. As soon as I Young sat down in the living room, servants brought tea and snacks, worried about neglecting her. You see, I Young was someone held very dear by the master and madam. Sister Ping Ping isn't home either? And I Young looked back at the old butler. The old butler replied, "Miss Ping Ping has gone to work." Oh. And I Young nodded slightly. Just then, footsteps were heard coming from the spiral staircase. A man and a woman descended from upstairs. The man was Mo Baichuan. The woman looked to be around 23 or 4. She wore a purple princess dress, a matching hat, and the same colored eyeshadow. She was very modish. Her name was Xiao Yingying, Mo Baichuan's cousin. Mo Baichuan saw I Young at first glance, with a complex look in his eyes. I Young claimed again and again, she liked Mo Qishan, yet Mo Qishan wasn't home. So why did she come to the Mo family? The crucial point was, today even the old Mr. Mo and Mrs. Mo weren't home. Although I Young didn't say a word about the wedding from beginning to end, Mo Baichuan felt like it was somehow related to her. "Cousin, you have a guest?" Yingying didn't want anyone to steal her thunder, so she wasn't fond of any girl prettier than her. Mo Baichuan lightly hummed in acknowledgement. Yingying continued, "Who is she? How come I've never seen her before?" "An insignificant person." "Shall we go up and say hi?" Before Mo Baichuan could respond, Yingying walked straight up to I Young. "Butler Li, our family has a guest. Won't you introduce me?" Butler Li smiled and replied, "Miss Xiao, this is I Young, young Master Essex's girlfriend. Miss and I, this is Miss Xiao Yingying, the cousin of young Master Baichuan." So, she was that loser's girlfriend. What good does being good-looking do? In the end, she was still entangled with a loser. Hearing this, Xiao Yingying's eyes were filled with disdain. I Young greeted her with a smile. "Miss Xiao." Xiao Yingying continued, "Miss Anai is so pretty, may I ask what she works as?" "Self-employed." I Young replied unfetteredly. Xiao Yingying laughed. "Well, you're a perfect match for Uncle Mo6 then. A self-employed woman and a loser, isn't that the perfect match?" I Young seemed not to notice the contempt in Xiao Yingying's eyes and casually responded, "Thank you." Xiao Yingying saw no point in wasting time on a self-employed woman, and turned to Mo Baichuan. "Let's go, cousin. Weren't you going to take me out for good food in Beijing?" Mo Baichuan nodded his head. With that, Xiao Yingying looked back at I Young. "Would Miss and I like to join us?" Mo Baichuan narrowed his eyes slightly. Would I Young pass up this opportunity to be alone with him? Definitely not. Just when Mo Baichuan was sure that I Young would accompany them, I Young spoke with a charming smile. "Miss Xiao, you're too kind. I won't go. I wish you and my nephew a pleasant meal." "Not go." I Young is actually not going. Not only was I Young not going, but she also directly called him nephew. At this point, was she still trying to go against the flow? Xiao Yingying continued, "Since Miss and I isn't going, I guess I'll take my leave with cousin." I Young nodded slightly. Outside, Xiao Yingying pulled Mo Baichuan's arm. "Cousin, where are you taking me to eat?" "Let's have Japanese food." Mo Baichuan said, "Okay." Xiao Yingying nodded. Once they were at the Japanese restaurant, Xiao Yingying enthusiastically poured Mo Baichuan some water. "Cousin, you should know why I came back from country to find you, right?" "Why?" Mo Baichuan asked, drinking the water. "Cousin, don't you really know?" "I don't know." Mo Baichuan's face was devoid of any expression. The men of the Mo family all shared a similar trait. They seldom smiled or spoke. Xiao Yingying complained, "Cousin, you're too boring. Even if you don't know, wouldn't you want to ask why I came back?" "I don't want to know." Xiao Yingying rolled her eyes. "Cousin, are you really not curious at all?" Mo Baichuan found no need to converse any further. Xiao Yingying continued, "Cousin, I'm just going to tell you. I came back for Mr. Mog. So you must help me." Chapter 559. The poisoning is very severe, Dr. Wang comes to find _2. Mr. Mog's name carries great weight in China, and he's even more desirable in the upper echelons of society. Regrettably, Mr. Mog never shows his face, and doesn't accept any family's overtures. However, not long ago, Mr. Mog amazingly took the initiative to send a birthday gift to Mrs. Mo. So, speculation is rampant outside that Mr. Mog definitely has a deep friendship with the Mo family. Also for this reason, the Mo family's status in Beijing has been rising along with the tide. Even despite the big incident at the wedding, no one dared to propagate it, fearing they might accidentally offend Mr. Mog. Bai Chuan Mo frowned slightly. What does this have to do with me? It has a lot to do with you. Ying Xiu continued. Cousin, don't you plan to introduce me to Mr. Mog? As the saying goes, don't let the water of your own mill flow into others' fields. Bai Chuan Mo answered, baffled. I don't even know Mr. Mog, how can I introduce you to him? Ying Xiu laughed. Cousin, stop pretending, I know you must know Mr. Mog. I know Mr. Mog is discreet and mysterious, and he doesn't want more people to know his identity, so rest assured, I promise I won't tell anyone about this. How could Bai Chuan Mo not know Mr. Mog? If Bai Chuan Mo didn't know Mr. Mog, then Mr. Mog wouldn't possibly have sent a birthday gift to Mrs. Mo. Mr. Mog made his fortune in F country, and coincidentally, Bai Chuan Mo studied there for 4 years. When Ying Xiu heard that Mr. Mog had sent Mrs. Mo a birthday gift, she couldn't wait to come back from abroad. Should she be so lucky as to catch Mr. Mog's eye, that would be the greatest honor. Just as Bai Chuan Mo and Mr. Mog happened to be good friends, Bai Chuan Mo could easily introduce Mr. Mog, with just a few words. Bai Chuan Mo stated, I really don't know Mr. Mog. Cousin. Ying Xiu pulled on Bai Chuan Mo's arm, beginning to act spoiled. Bai Chuan Mo sighed. Ying, stop it. I really don't know Mr. Mog. I don't even know what Mog looks like. Cousin. Bai Chuan Mo slowly pushed away Ying Xiu's hand. Ying, stop making a fuss. Ying Xiu persisted. Cousin, are you really my cousin? You won't even help me with this small thing. Just then, the waiter brought the food to the table. Let's eat. Bai Chuan Mo picked up his chopsticks. Cousin, you really want help me? Ying Xiu pouted. Bai Chuan Mo replied helplessly. It's not that I want help, it's that I really don't know Mr. Mog. Cousin, even if you want help me, you have to promise me one thing. Ying Xiu continued. Go ahead. I want to live at your house for a while. She didn't believe that Mr. Mog wouldn't visit, and when he did, she would naturally meet Mr. Mog. What are you doing staying here? Bai Chuan Mo frowned slightly. I'm staying to work. Ying Xiu replied. Stop messing around. I'm not messing around. I already talked to my mom about staying in Beijing. Ying Xiu said seriously. Bai Chuan Mo added. I will call your mom. Go ahead, my mom already agreed. Ying Xiu continued. Cousin, aren't you going to introduce me to Mr. Mog? Bai Chuan Mo frowned slightly. How many times do I have to tell you I don't know Mr. Mog? He really doesn't know Mr. Mog, but obviously, Ying Xiu doesn't believe him. Cousin, stop lying to me. If you really didn't know Mr. Mog, why would he send your grandma a birthday gift? Think about it from another perspective. If I married Mr. Mog, it would be beneficial to you in the future. Ying Xiu pleaded. You should spend your time improving yourself instead of thinking about these pointless things. Even if you do meet Mr. Mog, what makes you think he will definitely like you? How can a girl have no restraint at all? Bai Chuan Mo hates girls like Ina Yang who are hell-bent on attaching themselves to men. He never thought that Ying Xiu would also turn into this kind of girl. Are all girls in the world the same? Even if Mr. Mog doesn't fancy me, at least I can be friends with him. Being associated with someone as powerful as Mr. Mog, even just slightly, could lead to a lifetime of prosperity. Cousin, please help me. Chapter 560. The poisoning is extremely severe, Dr. Wang comes to find _3. Mo Baichuan sighed. I really don't know Mr. Mog. The reason he sent a birthday gift to my grandmother is probably that he was somewhat acquainted with my grandfather. He was acquainted with old Master Mo? If the old master is already well into his 70s, Nearing 80. Could Mr. Mog also be at that age? Xiao Yingying frowned slightly. Although she didn't want to marry an old man, the man was Mr. Mog. Cousin, have you ever seen Mr. Mog? No. Mo Baichuan shook his head. Grandfather has many good friends. Even if I've met them, I wouldn't know which one is Mr. Mog. Xiao Yingying stirred her drink. Oh, I see. Mo Baichuan picked up a piece of sashimi and put it in Xiao Yingying's bowl, speaking seriously. Yingying, you need to be down to earth. Stop thinking about all these fantasies. Just imagine, if Mr. Mog turns out to be an old man like my grandfather, would you still want to marry him? Yes. Xiao Yingying nodded. Mo Baichuan continued. And what if he already has a large family with grandchildren? This time, Xiao Yingying fell silent. After a long while, Xiao Yingying finally lifted her head. Cousin, let me stay at your place for now. I promise I won't disturb your work. Since she had come all this way, she needed to clarify things before going back. She had to see with her own eyes whether Mr. Mog was truly an old man with grandchildren before she could give up. If you want to stay, you can. The Mo family had a large house with plenty of rooms. Having one more girl staying over was not a problem at all. Thank you, cousin. Mo Baichuan didn't respond, but just stuffed a piece of lobster meat into his mouth. Every word the cousins were saying was heard by the guests at the next table. At the next table sat a young woman in a black suit, a faint smile playing at the corners of her mouth. If Mo Baichuan turned around at that moment, he would definitely recognize that this woman was his ex-sixth aunt, Zhao Jingrong. Zhao Jingrong had divorced Mo Qishan in order to marry Mr. Mog in the past. But she never dreamed that Mr. Mog would turn out to be Mo Baichuan. Actually, she should have realized it a long time ago. Mr. Mog was extremely mysterious, never dealing with any families. Yet he specifically sent a birthday present to old Mistress Mo. This was obviously a move to curry favor with the old mistress. With Mr. Mog's current status, he certainly didn't need to curry favor with a woman in her 70s or 80s. But the catch was old Mistress Mo was his grandmother. Isn't it normal for a grandson to try to please his grandmother? Moreover, Mo Baichuan once studied abroad in F country, where Mr. Mog started his enterprise. All of these points were pointing towards Mo Baichuan being Mr. Mog. If she had known earlier that Mo Baichuan was Mr. Mog, she would have been more polite to old Master Mo and the old mistress when she called off the engagement. She shouldn't have made things so ugly. Now the impression those two old people must have of her would be extremely poor. What should she do now? Zhao Jingrong frowned slightly. Should she first try to win over Mo Baichuan? As long as she successfully wins over Mo Baichuan. Even if old Master Mo and the old mistress disagree, what could they do? She needs to speed up her actions while not many people know that Mo Baichuan is Mr. Mog yet. Otherwise, if anyone gets a jump on her, it would be bad. Zhao Jingrong took a sip of sake and began to plan, wondering where to start. Half an hour after Yang had arrived at the Mo family, old Master Mo and the old mistress finally returned home. The old mistress grabbed Yang's hand excitedly. Yang is here. You've been waiting for a long time, haven't you? Why didn't you let us know in advance when you wanted to come over? If you had told us, we could have arranged for a driver to pick you up. Your aunt is right. Remember to tell us next time so we can have the driver pick you up. It's just a gas pedal away. Yang smiled. I just arrived. Uncle Mo, Auntie Mo, you don't have to be so polite. The old mistress laughed. We're all family, there's no need for such formalities. By the way, Yang, I heard that you went to M country with your mother recently. When did you guys come back? We got home yesterday morning. Yang continued. Oh yes, Aunt Mo, I brought you a gift from M country. Really? The old mistress looked somewhat surprised. Yes. Yang nodded, took out the gift box, and presented it to the old mistress. The gift that Yang had brought for the old mistress and old master was a massager that was not available domestically. When people reach a certain age, their immunity begins to weaken, often leading to weakness in the legs. Using this massager would provide significant relief. Chapter 561. The poisoning is tremendously severe, Dr. Wang comes to find _4. Since the instructions were all in English, Yang began teaching the two elders how to use the massager. In the afternoon, Yang proposed to leave. The lady and the master of the Mo family tried several times to persuade her to stay for dinner, but were rejected by Yang. Firstly, because she had other things to do, and secondly, because she was unwilling to face Mo Baichuan, especially when Mo Qixin was not around. With no other choice, the elderly couple from the Mo family could only see Yang to the door. Aunt Mo, Uncle Mo, please go back inside. The two elders nodded, but didn't seem to want to go back inside. But it's funny how things work out. Yang, who desperately didn't want to see Mo Baichuan, ended up running into him. Just as she was about to mount her bicycle, a black jeep stopped by the road. Mo Baichuan and Xiao Yingying got out of it. Yang wouldn't waste her breath on them. She acted as though she hadn't seen Mo Baichuan and rode past him. Mo Baichuan frowned slightly. Xiao Yingying, pulling at Mo Baichuan's sleeve, sneered. So she just rides a bicycle? Seeing Yang in this pitiful state, Xiao Yingying felt a sense of inexplicable elation and superiority. As fellow girls, she was a pampered young lady doted upon since birth who had a chauffeur to attend to her. And Yang? What could Yang possibly have to offer other than her pretty face? Even her boyfriend was beneath her. Mo Baichuan didn't show any expression. She is just a sole proprietor. What else do you think she can ride? Xiao Yingying chuckled. Cousin, has the Mo family ever thought about getting her a car? After all, she did come knocking against the grain. Surely, you can't let her get the short end of the stick. Riding that kind of bicycle here is so embarrassing. Mo Baichuan remained silent, but a flicker of contempt clearly flashed in his eyes. The couple continued to walk towards the main entrance. Just then, as if Xiao Yingying had suddenly remembered something, she said, Cousin, wait a minute. What happened? Mo Baichuan looked back. Xiao Yingying continued. I forgot to buy something. Cousin, can you accompany me to the mall? Mo Baichuan frowned slightly. Can't you buy it tomorrow? No. The Ice Skin Whitening and Moisturizing Cream has been increasing its monthly limit from 30 jars to 60 jars since last month. We release 30 jars on the 5th and 23rd of each month, and today is exactly the 23rd. Let's hurry up before they run out. My mom also asked me to get her a jar of wrinkle cream. Although Xiao Yingying had previously been a student in M country, she was well acquainted with the famous Ice Skin. Despite being a newcomer in the market last year, the brand has already taken several cities by storm. People have even flown in from other cities specifically to purchase its products. Ice Skin now has 3 branches, but its best-selling products are perpetually out of stock. Before Mo Baichuan could react, Xiao Yingying was already pulling him into the car. Cousin, drive faster. Having no other choice, Mo Baichuan had to start the engine. On turning the corner, they ran into Yang. Yang was wearing a sky-blue vintage button-up shirt and a pair of black wide-leg pants. Her dark, lustrous hair was loose behind her, blowing elegantly in the breeze. From the side, she resembled a female university student from the Republican era. Innocent, beautiful, peaceful, untouched by the worldly hustle and bustle. I must say, this Yang is rather attractive, Xiao Yingying remarked as she glanced out the window. Otherwise, why would my 6th uncle be so smitten with her? Mo Baichuan replied. In Mo Baichuan's eyes, Mo Qixin had fallen too deeply to listen to reason. No matter how many times had tried to warn Mo Qixin, he wouldn't believe him. Moreover, he would even mock him. Perhaps this is what people mean by love is blind. Xiao Yingying laughed, bluntly commenting, Your 6th uncle is a fool. Indeed, he is quite a fool. Mo Baichuan narrowed his eyes but didn't vocalize the thought. After all, Mo Qixin was his uncle. The car was fast, and they arrived at the mall in about 15 minutes. Xiao Yingying dragged Mo Baichuan directly to the Ice Skin store on the 3rd floor. When they arrived at the entrance, they saw a long line inside and outside the store. Everyone in line was buying the whitening and moisturizing cream and wrinkle cream. Xiao Yingying dragged Mo Baichuan to the line. At this time, a sales associate in a green dress came out. May I ask if you two are lining up to buy the whitening and moisturizing cream and wrinkle cream? Chapter 562. The poisoning is extremely severe. Dr. Wang comes to find _5. Yes. Xiao Yingying nodded her head. The saleswoman continued. Sorry, we only have enough whitening moisturizer and anti-wrinkle cream for those already in line. You two can come back and buy on the 5th of next month. It's sold out. Xiao Yingying said in surprise. Yes. How can it be sold out? Miss, can you help us? We came from a long way away, and it's not easy for us to come all this way. Xiao Yingying pleaded with the saleswoman, hoping she might bend the rules a bit. The saleswoman had encountered many such customers. I'm sorry, but both the whitening moisturizer and anti-wrinkle cream are limited editions. I can't do anything about it. You work here. How can you not do anything about it? Can you make an exception for me, please? I'm willing to pay double to buy them. Ever since she started using the whitening moisturizer, Xiao Yingying's complexion had greatly improved. She did not want to suddenly stop using it and have her skin return to her previous state. Otherwise, given Xiao Yingying's proud personality, she would never plead with a mere saleswoman. Even if you offer 10 times the price or 100 times the price, I still can't help you. You may want to ask the other customers in line if they would be willing to sell at a high price. Upon hearing this, Xiao Yingying had no choice but to appeal to the others in line, even offering as much as 5 times the price, but no one agreed. After all, those who could afford the Ice Jade skin product were not ordinary people. They wouldn't care about a few hundred yuan. Seeing this, Xiao Yingying, feeling defeated, grabbed Mo Baichuan's arm and walked back. Cousin, let's go. Just then a gentle female voice broke through the air. Mo Baichuan. Mo Baichuan looked up and saw a young woman in her mid-20s. Yes, how may I help you? The woman was none other than Zhao Jingrong. However, as she had been studying abroad since childhood, and only met Mo Baichuan a few times. On top of that, Mo Baichuan was not at home the day she broke off the engagement, so it was quite normal that he did not recognize her. Zhao Jingrong said with a smile. I am Zhao Jingrong. Recognition dawned on Mo Baichuan. Ah, Miss Zhao. Xiao Yingying glanced at Zhao Jingrong and, finding her not that stunning, felt relieved. But when she saw the complete Ice Jade Skin Beauty Kit in Zhao Jingrong's hands, envy welled up in her eyes. Zhao Jingrong had bought the whole set. Zhao Jingrong continued. Mo Baichuan, you don't hold any grudge against me for being your 6th uncle's ex-fiancé, do you? Mo Baichuan smiled. Even birds know to choose a tree for shelter. I don't blame you, Miss Zhao. Mo Qishan was useless, while Zhao Jingrong had just returned from her studies abroad. It was only natural that she wouldn't settle for Mo Qishan. Zhao Jingrong's soft voice resonated again. I had no idea there was someone as understanding as you in the Mo family. I thought everyone in the Mo family was as self-unaware as Mo Qishan. With her remark, Zhao Jingrong had managed both to put down Mo Qishan and elevate herself, whilst indirectly appeasing Mo Baichuan. Everyone enjoys hearing good things about themselves. From her first sentence, she inferred that Mo Baichuan didn't like his uncle Mo Qishan. If he had any regard for him as his uncle, he would have unhesitatingly defended Mo Qishan. But he didn't. Why would that be? Mo Baichuan chuckled. Zhao Jingrong pretended not to know. By the way, who is this beautiful lady at your side? Your girlfriend? No, Mo Baichuan continued. This is my cousin Xiao Yingying. Xiao Yingying naturally felt pleased at being complimented for her beauty, and so her opinion of Zhao Jingrong improved considerably. Zhao Jingrong laughed. So it's Sister Xiao Yingying, you're here to buy Ice Jade skin too? Yes, Xiao Yingying nodded, adding. Unfortunately, the saleswoman told me that the whitening moisturizer and anti-wrinkle cream are sold out. It seems I will have to come back at the beginning of the month. With that, she let out a sigh. Zhao Jingrong chimed in. Don't be upset, Sister Xiao. As it happens, I have the whitening moisturizer and anti-wrinkle cream in my full set of Ice Jade skin. I'll give them to you. She had been worried about how to get closer to Mo Baichuan. And then this perfect opportunity presented itself. Xiao Yingying did not expect Zhao Jingrong to be so generous. She replied somewhat embarrassed. Sister Jingrong, isn't that too much? What about you? Chapter 563. The poisoning is extremely severe. Dr. Wang comes to find _6. Xiao Yingying was so excited she even included her sister in it. Zhao Jingrong laughed and said, "There's no problem with that. I have some leftovers at home. They would only sit around if I brought them back, so it's better to give them to someone who needs them. Sister Xiao, you don't have to be formal with me." Xiao Yingying already wanted the full set of ice muscle jade skin, so she readily accepted it, saying, "Sister Jingrong, I really can't thank you enough." "You're welcome." Mo Baichuan took his wallet out from his pocket and looked at Zhao Jingrong. "How much is it?" "I'll pay you." He didn't want to owe anyone anything. Zhao Jingrong laughed and said, "Do I, Zhao Jingrong, look stingy to you? Think of it as a welcome gift for Sister Xiao." "But," Zhao Jingrong continued, "Mo Baichuan, if you really feel embarrassed, just invite me for a meal next time." "All right, I have errands to run. I am leaving. Goodbye." With that, Zhao Jingrong hurriedly walked away. Even though she knew Mo Baichuan was Mr. Mog, Zhao Jingrong wasn't in a hurry. She planned to slowly win over Mo Baichuan, making him sink into her charms one step at a time. Watching Zhao Jingrong's departing figure, Xiao Yingying happily said, "Sister Jingrong is such a good person. It's fortunate she didn't marry your worthless sixth uncle, or she would have wasted her whole life." Without saying much, Mo Baichuan only responded, "We should get going." After leaving the Mo family, Anai Yang went to the store first to buy some cigarettes, then to the restaurant. Nearly 3 months had passed, and the restaurant was almost fully renovated. Only final touches were needed. "Uncle Tiniu, Yang Yang's here." Wang Tiniu immediately put down the sandpaper in his hand. Anai Yang smiled. "Uncle Tiniu, thank you for your hard work during this time." Somewhat embarrassed, Wang Tiniu said, "That's nothing. There's nothing hard about it." Anai Yang handed over the cigarettes she just bought from the store. "Uncle Tiniu, take these cigarettes and give each person a pack." Yang, you're already paying us very well. I can't take these cigarettes." Ordinary workers only get 80 cents a day, but Anai Yang was paying them 2.5 yuan a day, and providing them with a meal at noon. So everyone had full energy at work, without any slack. "Just take it. These cigarettes are for everyone, not just for you." Anai Yang directly stuffed the cigarettes into Wang Tiniu's hand. "Then let me thank you on everyone's behalf." Anai Yang laughed and said, "There's nothing to thank. Everyone is doing manual labor. I should be the one to thank you all." "Oh right, Uncle Tiniu. The furniture factory should deliver the tables and chairs tomorrow. You just need to arrange them according to this design." Anai Yang handed Wang Tiniu a design diagram. The design was drawn by Anai Yang herself. She had good drawing skills, which made it very realistic and natural, so any ordinary person could understand it at a glance. Wang Tiniu nodded. "All right, Yang. You can count on me." After Anai Yang left, Wang Tiniu distributed the cigarettes Anai Yang bought to everyone. Red peony cigarettes with a retail price of 1 yuan per pack. Normally, everyone would hesitate to smoke such expensive cigarettes. Yang is such a polite girl. "I will save this cigarette and smoke it during the new year." The next morning, just as Anai Yang opened her eyes, she heard Anai Tsuehua knocking on the door. Yang, wake up. Dr. Wang is here. He said there's something urgent he needs to discuss with you. Chapter 564. Home Medical Treatment. Slapping G-Row_1. The urgency mentioned by the doctor usually pertains to matters of life and death. Upon hearing this, Anai Yang rolled over in bed, sitting up immediately. "All right, Mom, I'm getting up now." Anai Yang hurriedly got out of bed, randomly grabbing a cheongsam to put on, and after brushing her teeth and washing her face, she went to the front hall to meet Dr. Wang. All of this took less than 10 minutes in total. Not only Wang Yili had arrived, but also his younger brother Wang Yizhong. Yang, you're back at last." Upon seeing Anai Yang, Wang Yili was particularly excited. "Grandpa Wang, did you come to see me because of some urgency?" Anai Yang asked in response. Wang Yili continued, Yang, let me introduce you. This is my younger brother Wang Yizhong. Yizhong, this is the young divine Dr. Anai Yang I've told you about." "Hello, second Grandpa Wang." Anai Yang greeted politely. To be honest, upon seeing Anai Yang, Wang Yizhong felt a bit disappointed. Even though Wang Yili had told him that Anai Yang was young. But he never expected Anai Yang to be this young, She looked no older than 20, right? Could such a young child really possess such extraordinary medical skills? At her age, he was just beginning to learn about traditional Chinese medicine. Even though he felt a bit disappointed, Wang Yizhong hid his feelings well. After all, this was the young divine doctor that his brother admired. He might as well try his luck. Nice to meet you, young divine doctor. Wang Yizhong nodded. Wang Yili continued. Yang, we came here today to ask for your help. What's the matter? Just tell me, Grandpa Wang. Wang Yili revealed Wang Yizhong's situation to her. Upon hearing this, Yang slightly furrowed her brows. From the description, I can't yet determine what's wrong with the patient. How about this? I'll go with you to see him. That would be great. Wang Yili continued. Yang, are you free today? Even if Yang didn't have time, she would make time in face of a life or death situation. The patient's condition is important. Let's go now. All right. Wang Yili continued. Yizhong, let's go. Okay. Wang Yizhong nodded. The three of them walked out together when Cuehua came out from the house. Yang, you haven't had breakfast yet. Take this with you. Cuehua handed Yang a bag, and then gave the two other bags she held to Wang Yili and Wang Yizhong. Sirs, you haven't had breakfast yet. Take these. Madam Yang, you're too kind. We've already eaten. Both of them politely declined. They rushed over empty-handed early in the morning, without bringing any gifts. Even if they really hadn't eaten, they felt embarrassed accepting the breakfast from Cuehua. Cuehua noticed that Wang Yili and Wang Yizhong hadn't eaten, and she continued, Sirs, don't be so polite, take it. Everything is homemade, not worth much. Hearing this, Wang Yili accepted it. Thank you, Madam Yang. You're welcome. The breakfast included a bottle of milk and a sandwich. Yang first finished the sandwich, and then started drinking the milk. The milk at this time was stored in glass bottles, which looked quite appetizing. The sandwich was taught to Cuehua by Yang, with ingredients like fried eggs, meat slices, lettuce, pickles, and a layer of chili oil. It tasted sour and spicy, the lettuce and pickles effectively reducing the greasiness of the eggs and meat. Very appetizing. Both Wang Yili and Wang Yizhong had never eaten a sandwich before and found it very novel. Yang, what is this? A meat sandwich? It seemed like a meat sandwich, but it also didn't look like one, and it tasted much better than a meat sandwich. Yang laughed. This is called a sandwich. Sandwich? Wang Yili and Wang Yizhong looked at each other. They had never heard of such a strange name before. Yang nodded, then said, The sandwich is a foreign fast food dish, and I've adapted it according to the Chinese taste. Oh, I see. Wang Yili nodded, then said, This sandwich is really delicious. Yang smirked. Grandpa Wang, if you like it, you can always come to my house as a guest. Where Mr. Abner lived was downtown. About an hour later, their car arrived at the destination. Brother Yang, we have arrived. Wang Yizhong spoke first. Good, let's get out of the car. Wang Yili opened the car door. Chapter 565. Home Medical Treatment. Slapping G-2. Several people got out of the car. At the door, the bodyguard stood in the way without immediately allowing Wang Yizhong and Wang Yili to enter. Wang Yizhong then said, Could you please inform Mr. Abner that the divine doctor has arrived? Even though it pained him to call anyone the divine doctor, but the arrow was already on the string, and he had no choice but to let it fly. One of the bodyguards nodded. Wait here. Wang Yizhong looked at Yang apologizing. I'm sorry, Yang. This patient is a bit difficult. I didn't mean for you to get offended. It's fine. Yang shook her head. Shortly after, a large group of people came towards them. A young man and woman led the group. The man was a blonde foreigner with blue eyes, while the woman was a tall Chinese woman. Dr. Wang, the foreign man said in halting Chinese as he walked towards Wang Yili. Is this the devised doctor you brought? Divine doctor, hello, I'm Abner from F country. I hope you can cure my mother's illness. With his full white beard, Wang Yili resembled a hermit, so it was understandable Mr. Abner could mistake him for the divine doctor. After all, no one would associate the title of divine doctor with a teenage girl. Wang Yili awkwardly replied, Sir, you have mistaken me, I'm not the divine doctor. The real divine doctor is her. Wang Yili then pointed to An Yang. Her. Mr. Abner looked at An Yang, slightly taken aback. This young girl is too young. That was Mr. Abner's initial reaction. His second reaction was, he felt like he had seen An Yang somewhere before, but he just couldn't recall where. This was truly strange. Wang Yizhong nodded. Yes, her. Mr. Abner. This young divine doctor might be able to cure your mother. Shall we give her a try? Before Mr. Abner could reply, a scoff sounded from the sidelines. Dr. Wang, have you gone senile? Who are you just bringing to see Mr. Abner? A teenage girl who dares to claim herself to be the divine doctor. What a joke. Jiro didn't recognize An Yang. After all, it had been a long time since their brief encounter on the street, and they were quite a distance apart then. Not remembering her would be normal. Young girl, do you know how to speak properly? Do you know there are some people you can't judge by appearance? Wang Yili spoke unpleased. Meanwhile, Wang Yili was guessing in his heart. This girl was probably the Miss Ji his brother had spoken of. No wonder Wang Yizhong detested her. Indeed, she was not a likable girl. Old man, I was speaking with Dr. Wang. Why are you so eager to interrupt? Do you know there is a saying in China that goes, dogs don't have a place in the human conversation? Ji Rao's words, seemingly polite with all the sirs in you, were actually barbed at every turn. Wang Yili's face turned a deep red, yet he was left with no retort. At this moment, a soft voice floated in the air. I wonder if this lady here has heard of another Chinese saying. Respect your elders? Despite being younger than Ji Rao, An Yang's aura was superior. Her calm remark turned Ji Rao's face pale. Ji Rao had never been put down so harshly before. After all, respecting elders is a virtue that has been passed down in China for 5,000 years. Mr. Abner turned to look at An Yang, a sudden enthusiasm in his eyes. I remember now. You were the young girl who saved someone in the streets last time. Can you really cure my mom's illness? It was no coincidence Mr. Abner remembered An Yang. An Yang was so beautiful that he noticed her immediately in the crowd back then. He had never seen such a beautiful Eastern girl. An Yang was the first. When she heard this, Ji Rao instantaneously remembered, but she had no good impression of An Yang on the street. She thought An Yang was all about the limelight, mystifying things. This was a girl with a scheming heart, who had exhausted all means to get Wang Yizhong to bring her to see Mr. Abner. She was just trying to bewitch Mr. Abner with her face and gain power. What a disgrace. Instead of studying hard at such a young age, she was doing dishonorable things. Wasn't that shameful? Perhaps even what happened that day on the street was a setup by An Yang. She just wanted to attract Mr. Abner's attention and stage today's drama. Chapter 566. Home Medical Treatment, Slapping Ji Rao _3. Ji Rao's face grew increasingly grim, ready to expose An Yang's true face at any moment. Only Mr. Abner had seen An Yang that day. An Yang didn't notice him until then. She asked somewhat strangely, what street? Have we met before? At this, Ji Rao scoffed coldly. She's really putting on a good act. Ji Rao was curious to see just how long An Yang could keep the act going. Mr. Abner explained what he saw that day. Only then did An Yang get it. Oh, you're talking about that day. The elderly woman had a sudden heart attack that day, and I just administered some basic first aid measures to her. As for your mother's disease, I can only decide after I've seen her condition. I can't give you a definite answer on whether or not it can be cured right now. Mr. Abner immediately said, Divine Doctor, come with me. He had initially thought that An Yang failed to save the old lattice life last time, which was why she hastily left. To his surprise, An Yang actually managed to save the old lady. It seems that China does indeed have a divine doctor. Wait a moment. Ji Rao suddenly spoke. Miss Ji, what's wrong? Mr. Abner turned back with a puzzled look. Mr. Abner, please don't believe her. She's a liar. She doesn't know anything about medical skills. She's colluding with Dr. Wang to deceive you. I grew up in China, and I've never seen a teenage divine doctor. She's just trying to draw your attention by leveraging her good looks. Speaking fluently in French, Ji Rao continued, Mr. Abner, please don't be fooled by her and cause unnecessary pain for your wife. At her words, Mr. Abner's expression changed. He trusted Ji-ro. And considering that En-Yang didn't offer any explanation after hearing Ji-Rao's words, he began to question En-Yang's true intentions. What did she say? Wang Yili asked anxiously. Yizhong, can you understand it? I don't understand. Wang Yizhong shook his head and whispered. But judging by the look on her face, she's not saying anything nice. A fine Chinese speaker. Why would she switch to speaking bird language? Wang Yili's face darkened. This Ms. Ji is really too bullying. Can't she just speak openly and honestly? Ji-Rao's face was smug. She was speaking French. Could those two old fools and the young girl understand it? Ji-Ro looked at En-Yang, her lips curled in disdain, and a mocking glint in her eyes. Her whole goal was to make sure En-Yang couldn't understand. To make En-Yang embarrass herself. Ji-Ro had seen many Chinese who couldn't speak French. In front of the people of F country, they were like mutes, their hand and footwork clumsy and comical. Just wait. En-Yang was about to embarrass herself. Just as Ji-Ro was waiting for En-Yang to embarrass herself, a pleasant French voice sounded in the air. Dear unnamed sister, do you really think it's all right to maliciously assume things about others? I wonder if you have ever heard the saying judge others as you judge yourself, or if you know what it means. The saying means that you see others as what you are yourself. You are trying to seduce Mr. Abner, and you're attempting to slander others without any shame. By the end of her statement, En-Yang simply shook her head. Ji-Rao's face turned green with fury. She had never expected that a girl who seemed to have barely had any education would be fluent in French. It was simply unbelievable. While Wang Yili and Wang Yizhong didn't understand what En-Yang was saying, they inexplicably felt thrilled. Just by looking at Ji-Rao's face, they could tell that En-Yang had gained the upper hand. This ignorant girl really needed some harsh lessons. What are you babbling about? Ji-Ro said. I'm going to sue you. You're defaming me. En-Yang smiled faintly, replying in French. What you do not wish for yourself, do not do to others. When you were defaming me just now, have you not thought, I could also sue you? Ji-Ro choked. Her face turned even uglier. She had never been so humiliated in front of Mr. Abner before. What on earth was the background of this young girl? She was so annoyed. En-Yang continued. Dear sister, are you aware that your accusatory behavior just now could have cost Mr. Abner's mother's chance of recovery if it were a doctor who didn't understand French? You think you can cure the wife's disease? Ji-Ro was so angry, her face turned pale. En-Yang gave a slight smile. Whether I can or not, just wait and see. Chapter 567. Home Medical Treatment, Slapping Ji-Ro_4. En-Yang's actions not only took Ji-Ro by surprise but also Mr. Abner. He never expected that En-Yang would be able to strike back so beautifully in front of the powerful Ji-Ro. A person who can speak French so fluently mustn't have poor medical skills. You should know, French is one of the top 10 hardest languages in the world to learn. Even Ji-Ro, who had lived in F country for 7 or 8 years, only managed to learn it so fluently. Divine doctor, please come with me. To show his respect for En-Yang, Mr. Abner still spoke in Chinese. Mr. Abner. Ji-Ro was not satisfied. Miss Ji, I think you should be clear about your status. While saying this neutrally, Ji-Ro shivered all over. What was her status? At best, she was just a senior assistant to Mr. Abner. Wang Yili glanced at Ji-Ro with a cold hum and walked straight past her. Wang Yizhong also showed no friendly face toward Ji-Ro. Ji-Rao's face was uglier than it ever had been before, but she had to suppress her anger and follow behind the group. She was eager to see what kind of abilities En-Yang actually had. Mr. Abner's mother was staying on the 3rd floor. The bedroom was large, well ventilated, and almost odorless. This is my mother, said Mr. Abner, pointing to the middle-aged woman lying on the bed. Mr. Abner's mother was 47 years old. Her name was Georgia. Georgia was covered in tubes for life support. She didn't look frail like a typical patient, but was rather radiant. If it weren't for the tubes in her body, anyone would think she was healthy. En-Yang had never seen such a phenomenon. It was Wang Yili's first time seeing Georgia. He turned his head to Wang Yizhong and said, Strange, I've never seen a patient like this. En-Yang didn't say much. Instead, She sat down beside Georgia and reached out her hand to feel her pulse, concentrating on her diagnosis. The only sound in the ward was the beeping of the heart monitor. After a while, Anna Young slowly opened her eyes. Mr. Abner asked anxiously, "How is it? Divine Doctor, can my mother be saved?" His mother's illness had been going on for too long. Each day felt like torture to her. Seeing his mother like this as a son, Mr. Abner was truly distressed. "Your mother is suffering from cold syndrome. Don't worry, it's not a serious illness," Anna Young said lightly. "Not a serious illness?" George's illness had stumped both Western and traditional Chinese medicine practitioners. Yet Anna Young casually stated it wasn't a serious illness. Was she being overconfident? Even Wang Yizhang felt Anna Young was being unreasonable. "Miss Anai, are you saying that you're confident you can cure Mrs. George's illness?" Jiro asked. "Yes," Anna Young nodded. Even the professors of Western medicine in M country couldn't diagnose Mrs. George's condition. And yet you say it's not a serious illness. Do you believe you have more authority than the professors? Oh, I forgot to ask earlier, do you have a medical license? How many years have you been practicing medicine? Jiro asked aggressively. Anna Young laughed and said, "It's not that I'm better than foreign professors. Sometimes some medical conditions can't be diagnosed with machines. Western medicine has its strengths, and so does traditional Chinese medicine. If traditional Chinese medicine was truly useless, it wouldn't have been passed down for 5,000 years in China, and you wouldn't be here." Anna Young didn't mean to belittle Western medicine. This statement was made with great confidence and poise. If this had been a Western doctor, they probably wouldn't have this kind of tolerance. This is the legacy of 5,000 years of traditional Chinese medicine. Jiro bit her lip. "Miss Anai, you're really good at avoiding the main point. I asked if you have a medical license." Anna Young laughed and said, "Of course I have a medical license. Otherwise, I wouldn't be practicing medicine." Anna Young pulled out a traditional Chinese medicine certification from her bag. Ever since she had successfully treated Mo Hudi, Anna Young had taken the time to obtain her traditional Chinese medicine certification. Now she is a certified traditional Chinese doctor. This certificate couldn't be fake, could it? Jiro had some doubts but had nothing more to say. Anna Young looked at Mr. Abner and asked, "Did your mother go to the mountains for a trip 2 years ago and come back with a serious illness?" Mr. Abner thought for a moment, then said, "Yes, that's correct." Chapter 568. Home Medical Treatment, Slapping G-Row_5. Abner remembered the time his mother was ill for over half a month very clearly, because she had to undergo a major surgery before she finally recovered. Anna Young nodded. "Exactly, your mother had been infected with a cold deficiency 2 years ago. She wasn't going to last long, but luckily you sent her to the hospital in time, and supplemented her with rare nourishments which cured her. Your mother was already fine, but a year ago, she must have caught a cold, which caused the cold deficiency to return." Mr. Abner looked totally shocked. Because what Anna Young said was completely accurate. About a year ago, his mother got lost in a snowy night. When they found her the next day, she had already lost consciousness. After the rescue, there didn't seem to be any major problems at the time. But a month later, she started bedridden, and now she's in this state. Divine Doctor, you are amazing. Please take care of my mother. Whatever you need to do, we are at your disposal. Wang Yili and Wang Yizhang looked at each other, their eyes filled with admiration. Wang Yizhang, who originally doubted Anna Young, was now totally convinced. Bro, this young divine doctor is incredible. Wang Yili stroked his beard, proudly saying, "I told you long ago that Yang is amazing." Even though it was Anna Young who diagnosed the disease, Wang Yili was happier than if he had diagnosed it himself. The least happy person here was Jiro. What was the yellow-haired girl proud of? She didn't believe Anna Young could cure Georgia. Could traditional Chinese medicine really be that amazing? How is it possible? Anna Young continued. "If you trust me, let's first remove all these chest drainage tubes, gastric tubes, oxygen tubes from your wife. Only then, I can proceed to the next step of treatment." All right, Mr. Abner nodded rapidly. Yes, I'll listen to you. Klaus, go and call someone over quickly." All right. Klaus immediately went out to call people. Na Young took out a banknote, lowered her eyes to write a prescription, and handed it to Mr. Abner. Get someone to buy these herbs, then decoct them into a medicinal soup. In a short while Klaus ushered in the doctors. When they heard that Na Young wanted to remove the tubes from Georgia, they all opposed it. Mr. Abner, currently your wife's life is being maintained by these tubes. If we remove them, your wife will die. Our Western medicine is so advanced and we still can't cure your wife's disease. How can traditional Chinese medicine do it with just their bitter concoctions? What you're doing isn't saving your wife, it's harming her. Hearing this, Jiro stepped forward. Mr. Abner, I think what everyone said makes sense. Even though Miss and I accurately identified your wife's ailment, it doesn't rule out the possibility that she had investigated it ahead of time. Given your prestigious status, who knows how many Chinese people want to curry favor with you? Na Young slightly frowned. Looking down on your own compatriots like this, aren't you Chinese, sister? Of course I'm not Chinese. A gleam of triumph flashed in Ji Rao's eyes. She was now a citizen of country F. Na Young smiled faintly. It's lucky that we're living in a time of peace. Otherwise, you'd certainly be seen as a traitor. You. Jiro was furious. Did I say anything wrong? Na Young raised her eyebrows slightly. Sister, you owe traditional Chinese medicine an apology. Jiro carried herself with righteous indignation. Traditional Chinese medicine is outdated and incompetent, and we're not allowed to say this? People like you will never understand the sophistication of Western culture, always sticking to obsolete ideas, spouting sweet words here, deceiving and cheating. Miss G is right. Mr. Abner, don't be fooled by this quack. The other doctors were also seething with anger. This young lady looked no more than a teenager. How could she possibly possess medical skills? Mr. Abner, traditional Chinese medicine emphasizes a bond between patient and doctor. We do not force our treatments on anyone. Since I do not have this bond with your wife, I'll make a move first. Please invite someone more capable. Na Young began to pack up her medical box, preparing to leave. Seeing Na Young stand her ground in such a way, oddly enough, the brothers Wang Yili and Wang Yizhong found it extremely satisfying. This is the style of traditional Chinese medicine should have. Begging and pleading is definitely not the style of traditional Chinese medicine. Let these folks from F country regret it. Mr. Abner was somewhat stunned, and at that moment he didn't know how to make a decision. His mother had indeed been relying on this equipment to sustain her life for some time. If the tubes were recklessly pulled out, and that caused her to lose her life, he would have become an accomplice. Na Young put away her medical kit and started to leave, and everyone in the room made way for her. Seeing this, a self-satisfied expression appeared on Ji Rao's face. She knew Na Young didn't have much of a knack. If she did, she wouldn't have slunk off with her tail between her legs. Just as Na Young turned to leave, a hand tightly gripped hers. Na Young looked back slightly. Unbeknownst to her, Georgia, who had been unconscious, had woken up, and it was she who had grabbed Na Young's hand. Don't go. Beautiful girl, I believe in you. Please stay and treat me. Georgia's voice was extremely weak, but she held on to Na Young's hand tightly. It was a desperate plea from a seriously ill person. She had already been sick for over a year. She had never encountered a doctor who could correctly diagnose her illness, nor had any doctor said that they could cure it. Na Young may be young. She was willing to take a gamble. If she won, she could survive. If she lost, she would just be dead. She wouldn't live much longer anyway. And rather than living in pain, she would be better off dead. Looking into George's dull eyes, Na Young couldn't bear to refuse and nodded. Okay. Thank you. A pale smile appeared at the corners of George's mouth. Madam, you're being foolish. Jiro hastily walked forward. Shut up. This is not your place to speak. Georgia turned to look at Mr. Abner. Abner. Jiro's face whitened. Mom. Mr. Abner walked over to Georgia. Georgia continued. If anything unexpected happens during the procedure, it has nothing to do with this young lady. Please don't blame her, because this is my own choice. She was already a dying person, and she absolutely could not involve others in her troubles before her death. Seeing Mr. Abner remaining silent, Georgia continued. Abner, promise me quickly. Mr. Abner nodded with difficulty. All right. I promise you. Jiro anxiously said. Mr. Abner, Madam has lost her ability to think clearly, but you must not be confused. Mr. Abner sighed. Stop talking. I respect my mother's wishes. He finished speaking and bowed deeply to Enai Yang. Divine Doctor, we're counting on you. Enai Yang didn't say much. She turned to look at Wang Yili and Wang Yizhang. Would the two of you mind assisting me? Of course. Wang Yili and Wang Yizhang immediately stepped forward. It didn't take long for the three of them to remove all the tubes on Georgia's body. As soon as the tubes were removed, it seemed as though all of Georgia's strength had been drained. Her head slumped to the side, and she immediately closed her eyes. Wang Yili slightly furrowed his brows, checking Georgia's breathing. Suddenly his face turned white and he looked at Enai Yang, whispering, She seems to have stopped breathing. Stopped breathing. Jiro only wished to stir up trouble and shrieked. How can she stop breathing? Miss Enai, didn't you say your medical skills were good, and that you could cure Madam? At this point, Jiro looked at Mr. Abner, adding fuel to the fire. Murdering compensates life. Mr. Abner, you must hold Miss Enai accountable. Enai Yang had embarrassed her many times, of course. She needed to take revenge. Even though Georgia had said she wouldn't hold Enai Yang responsible while alive, but how trustworthy could the words of a sick person be? Moreover, there were no written agreements. Now it would be her word against the dead. Chapter 569. Insane Slapping. _1 Thinking about Enai Yang's impending prison sentence, Ji Rao's heart was filled with exhilaration. Mr. Abner's face immediately turned pale. His legs buckled, and he looked like he was about to collapse on the ground. Just then a fair hand grabbed his wrist. There's nothing to worry about. From a medical perspective, your wife is merely in a state of apparent death. Her voice was soft and bland, but it was having a calming effect on him. The temperature of Mr. Abner's body finally began to rise slowly. Apparent death? Impossible. My wife is clearly dead. Jiro argued. Mr. Abner, don't listen to her absurdities. Enai Yang glanced at Jiro and smirked. It appears that you desperately want your wife to die. On hearing those words, Mr. Abner slightly furrowed his brow, his eyes full of displeasure as he looked at Jiro. Jiro also quickly realized her mistake and immediately corrected herself. Mr. Abner, I didn't mean that. I'm just overly worried and anxious. She was clearly dead. Could Enai Yang bring somebody back to life? Jiro bit her lip, anxious to see how Enai Yang would handle this situation. Mr. Abner's face had finally eased a little. Enai Yang turned to Wang Yili and Wang Yizhang. Do you have the acupuncture kits? Yes, they both nodded. It is said in the Qianjin Fang that each acupuncture point has its implications. Let's start acupuncture on your wife now. Lord Wang, you are in charge of the Tianshu acupoint and above. It should be 3-finger widths in. Lord Wang II, you're responsible for the points below the Tianshu acupoint. The Shuahai acupuncture's point should be 3-finger widths down. The ancient people had named each of the meridian points on the human body for a reason. Acupuncture had been passed down for thousands of years. As long as the needle is inserted correctly, and the meridians are unblocked, the illness should be half cured. Hearing this, Wang Yili and Wang Yizhang proceeded with the acupuncture without any hesitation. If Enai Yang said that Georgia was not dead, then there must be a reason for it. The Western doctors stood there, their faces filled with astonishment. Although they frequently perform surgeries in Western medicine, they really hadn't seen acupuncture before. Could this really work? A few of them started to whisper amongst themselves. Enai Yang didn't care about them. She inserted the last silver needle into Georgia's Baihui acupoint. She was wearing a white long-sleeved cheongsam. Her pure black border complemented her radiant black hair perfectly. Her slender wrist, as delicate as white lotus root, fell from the sleeve. Her slender fingertips rotated the silver needle slowly. She appeared focused and serious. One of her hair strands slid over her cheek. The interplay of white and black created a beautiful scenery. Even without makeup, her beauty was breathtaking. Jiro looked down at her own cheongsam and felt a nameless inferiority complex. Ji-ro had a typical face for a woman from the water towns in the south of the Yangtze River, making her a perfect match for a cheongsam. She never envisioned someone else would look better in a cheongsam than her. It felt as if something that originally belonged to her had been stolen. If a girl like In-ai-yang were to get a chance to shine, she would soar high in the sky. Therefore, she could not allow In-ai-yang to turn her fortunes around today. Ji-ro clenched her fingers. Mr. Abner, you. Ji-ro was just about to say something but was interrupted by Mr. Abner. Miss Ji, you're tired. You should go rest. Is Mr. Abner intending to shield In-ai-yang? Ji-ro squinted her eyes. Although she was unhappy, she had no choice but to leave. In-ai-yang's treatment continued. The more Ji-ro thought about it, the more uncomfortable she got. She couldn't let In-ai-yang get away with such a crime. She walked out of the manor, arrived at the public phone booth, and dialed a number. Hello, is this the police station? A quack doctor has taken a life at Wanqing Manor. The detailed address is. After she hung up the phone, a satisfied smile curled up on Ji-ro's lips. There was no escape for In-ai-yang now. A life had been lost after all. The police were quick to arrive. In no time, one could hear the siren outside. Ji-ro adjusted her cheongsam and hairstyle and followed behind the police officers, heading to George's room smugly. Just you wait. In-ai-yang was about to become a convict. The room was full of Western doctors who all made way for the police as they entered, casting sympathetic glances at In-ai-yang. The police had arrived. Mr. Abner wouldn't be able to shield her anymore. We received a call about a quack doctor who claimed a life here. Where is the deceased? Chapter 570. Insane slapping. _2. Mr. Abner walked out and said, I am the lord of this manor, and there has been no murder here. Are you sure of your facts? Since his mother had already told him beforehand, he would not go back on his word. In any case, this was his mother's own choice. Upon seeing the police coming in, both Wang Yili and Wang Yizhong were slightly panicked. Although In-ai-yang had said that Georgia was only in a state of fake death, Georgia still hadn't breathed and hadn't responded at all. They wouldn't really take In-ai-yang away, would they? Once associated with a homicide, then In-ai-yang's life would be ruined. Right then, Wang Yili somewhat regretted introducing In-ai-yang to Wang Yizhong. He was the one who had ruined In-ai-yang. Ji-ro pointed at Georgia, who was lying on the bed, and said, Mr. Abner, up to this point, are you still going to cover for In-ai-yang? The victim is your own biological mother. Officer, the deceased is right here. Upon conclusion, Ji-ro pointed at In-ai-yang and said, And she is the killer. In-ai-yang didn't look panicked at all. She didn't even spare Ji-ro an extra glance. She bent down to help Georgia, saying, Take it slow, sit up and see if you're having trouble breathing. Georgia, who had been lying in bed with no signs of life, gradually opened her eyes and, with In-ai-yang's help, slowly sat up in bed. I feel a lot better. The most noticeable change was the absence of her headache, and the weight gone off her shoulders, feeling indescribably relieved. Seeing this, everyone in the room was stunned. Mr. Abner immediately rushed over, saying, Mom, are you okay? Are you really okay? Georgia had been lying in bed for over a year, unable to sit up because she couldn't use the muscles in her back. This was simply a miracle. Impossible. This is impossible. Ji-ro, who had been ready to enjoy a good laugh, turned pale on the spot. How could this be possible? How could worthless traditional Chinese medicine be so powerful? Didn't Georgia breathe her last? Why isn't Georgia dead? Ji-ro clenched her fists, breaking several fingernails in the process. Seeing Georgia awake and safe, the other Western doctors also marveled at this miracle. They knew Georgia had been pronounced dead by them. But now, she was miraculously cured by a traditional Chinese doctor that they had always looked down on. This was simply unimaginable. Could it be that traditional Chinese medicine is this powerful? The Western doctors' opinions of In-ai-yang were changing. Even Wang Yili and Wang Yizhong were somewhat shocked. Neither of them had expected Georgia to wake up abruptly. The police saw that it was all a misunderstanding, said a few words, and then turned to leave. Please wait a moment, officer, said In-ai-yang lightly. Young comrade, do you have any other matters? In-ai-yang continued. What punishment would one receive for falsely reporting crimes, maliciously misleading, and seriously disrupting public order and wasting public resources. The leading policeman replied, according to the regulation on public order punishments, those who commit such crimes will be detained for up to 15 days. If they commit a crime, they will be prosecuted for criminal responsibility. Yang nodded, turned to look at Jiro and said, so this lady who falsely reported a crime, maliciously misled the public, seriously disrupted public order, and wasted public resources, should be dealt with according to the law, right? Yang was not someone who could be easily manipulated by Jiro. Since Jiro never intended to let her off in the first place, she would repay her with a 15-day police station tour. Were you the one who reported the incident? The policeman turned and asked Jiro. Jiro was dumbfounded, as if struck by the imposing aura of the officer. She turned pale and said, it was me. Mr. Abner immediately cast a disappointed look at Jiro. The trust Jiro had built up in his heart was gradually disintegrating. Just as Jiro realized that she had misspoken and quickly covered her mouth, it was too late. She was escorted by the police into their vehicle. Mr. Abner, save me, it wasn't me, it really wasn't me. She couldn't be sent to the detention center. She couldn't leave a stain on her record. The original plan was to get Yang into the police car, but she ended up becoming a laughingstock before Yang. Ever since she returned to the country, Jiro had never lost such great face. This was such a disgrace. Jiro was filled with regret, but there was no antidote for remorse in this world. Chapter 571. Insane Slapping. _3. Yang looked at her retreating figure, a slight smile curling her lips. Mr. Abner came to Yang's side, then asked, Divine Doctor, is my mother fully cured now? Yang withdrew her gaze and replied, the cold deficiency isn't a big illness. Roughly half a month of traditional Chinese medicine should be sufficient for a complete recovery. I'll come by for a follow-up in half a month. Thank you so much, Divine Doctor. Thank you for giving my mother a second chance at life. Mr. Abner said gratefully, no need for thanks, it's my duty as a doctor. Divine Doctor, we were ignorant before. We are sorry for any inconvenience caused. Several Western doctors came forward and bowed their heads in apology to Yang. They had underestimated traditional Chinese medicine from the start. Yang responded straightforwardly. Chinese and Western medicines each have their strengths. I only treat the diseases I am skilled to. I turn to you for advice when I encounter stubborn diseases. I believe the best approach integrates both Chinese and Western medicine, making good use of each other's strengths. We shouldn't stereotype different cultures. In her actions, she constantly embodied the essence of a great nation. The Western doctors couldn't help but hang their heads in shame, submitting under her words. Seeing the Western doctors apologize to Yang, Wang Yili and Wang Yizhong felt extremely proud. In an era dominated by Western medicine, finally, someone has turned the table for them. It's not easy to make these Western doctors bow their heads. And Yang's argument was valid. Chinese medicine has its advantages, and so does Western medicine, neither is overlapping the other. If these two could be utilized in conjunction, it would surely benefit humanity even more. Mr. Abner's eyes filled with admiration. Although this young girl didn't seem aged, her understanding far surpassed her years. She emanated a kind of beauty refined by time itself. The Western doctors then asked, can we ask you a few questions? Of course. Yang nodded, delicately answering the questions posed by them. Wang Yili and Wang Yizhong unconsciously joined in, discussing medical knowledge, and they ended up sitting down together to discuss the details in the medical office of the manor. Georgia held Mr. Abner's hand and said, you must properly thank the Divine Doctor. Mr. Abner nodded. Don't worry, I will. At noon, Mr. Abner grandly entertained them. Yang made an agreement with him to come for a follow-up visit after 15 days. After the meal, Yang followed Wang Yizhong's car to the city center. Second Grandfather Wang, you can drop me off here. Wang Yizhong was surprised. Yang, aren't you going home? Yang smiled lightly. I have some stuff to do. I won't be going home just yet. You and Grandfather Wang can go first. All right then, Yang, take care. Well, go first. Wang Yizhang said. Hum. And I Yang waved goodbye to them. Goodbye, grandfathers. Goodbye. And I Yang arrived at the Xinhua bookstore, bought a few basic English textbooks, and picked up some English tapes, along with a tape recorder. At that time, the tape recorder was portable but bulky and extremely expensive. A tape recorder would cost 38 yuan, which was nearly a month's wage for some people. Most families couldn't afford it. After leaving Xinhua bookstore, Anai Yang went to the vegetable market to buy some vegetables. She was a regular customer of the vegetable stall owner. This time she bought over 500 kilograms of vegetables, and the stall owner would directly deliver them to her doorstep. After all, 500 kilograms of vegetables cost 25 yuan. Usually even half a month's sale wouldn't total up to that. Following this, Anai Yang also bought some beef and mutton before heading home. When she arrived home, the vegetables had already been delivered by the stall owner. Anai Tsuehua and a few other village women were washing the vegetables. The vegetables were to make pickles. Anai Tsuehua alone couldn't finish washing over 500 kilograms of it, so each time they bought vegetables for pickling, temporary laborers were hired from the village to help. Temporary labor cost 2 yuan a day, and everyone was very eager to work. After washing the vegetables, Anai Yang handed the tape recorder and English books she bought to Anai Tsuehua. Mom, these are for you. What's this? Anai Tsuehua was a bit curious. These are English textbooks and a tape recorder to help you learn English. Anai Yang responded. Anai Tsuehua was amazed. So this is a tape recorder. How do you use it? I'll show you. Anai Yang plugged in the recorder, inserted a tape, and soon a standard American English accent flowed from the recorder. Chapter 572. Insane Slapping. _4. You speak so well. Anai Tsuehua flipped open her English book to the first unit, starting to learn alongside. As Anai Tsuehua had spent some time in M country, her pronunciation was quite accurate, and the English book that Anai Yin bought contained Chinese explanations, which made learning easier for Anai Tsuehua. With a smile, Anai Yin said, Mom, your English is great. You don't need to worry about the household chores anymore, just focus on learning English. Learning another language was not a bad thing for Anai Tsuehua. Anai Tsuehua said, There's not much to do around the house. I can learn and work at the same time. Studying won't delay anything. When Anai Tsuehua was learning English, little Anai Yin was also mimicking behind her, making babbling sounds. Quite expressive indeed. Time flew quickly, and soon it was the beginning of the month. Today was the day when Li Ronghua was invited to her boyfriend's house. Her boyfriend's name was Zhou Wenhua. True to his name, he was a man of education. Although he had to retake university several times before finally getting in, at least he managed to graduate from a second-tier school. In this era, second-tier university graduates were rare, and they were guaranteed a stable job after graduation. Perhaps it was not exaggerating to consider him the golden phoenix in her family. Zhou Wenhua was always the pride of Li Ronghua, though she didn't even graduate from junior high school, but her boyfriend was really something. Last week, Zhou Wenhua went to Guangguan for a trip. He was arriving today, so Li Ronghua purposely rode ahead to the train station, ready to pick him up. Li Ronghua had waited at the exit for a long time, but didn't see Zhou Wenhua. Suddenly, something caught her eye. If the man in the denim jacket and jeans wasn't her boyfriend, who else could it be? Wenhua. Over here. Over here. Li Ronghua waved her hands frantically, yelling excitedly. Perhaps it was Li Ronghua's overpowering shouts, or perhaps it was her overtly enthusiastic gestures that caused the girl walking beside Zhou Wenhua to subtly let go of Zhou's wrist and distance herself from him. The previously vibrant smile on Zhou Wenhua's face stiffened instantly. Why are you here? Zhou Wenhua asked as he approached Li Ronghua. Li Ronghua replied with a grin. I came specifically to pick you up. How is it? Are you surprised and touched? Zhou Wenhua frustratingly rubbed his temples. Li Ronghua, you're over 20. You're not a child anymore. Can you please stop acting so immature? Aren't you annoyed with yourself? In Zhou Wenhua's eyes, Li Ronghua was nothing but a nuisance. Not only was her education lacking, but her fiery temper was unbearable. She could quarrel for lengthy periods over 1 or 2 cents, arguing until she was red in the face. She was even more uncivilized than the uncouth. That wasn't even the worst part. What truly disappointed Zhou Wenhua was that, after a hard struggle, he finally managed to secure a factory job for Li Ronghua through a friend. But instead of taking it, Li Ronghua decided to work for an individual proprietor. Telling others about it was almost shameful. How could he have fallen for someone like this? Sorry, Wenhua, I didn't mean to cause you trouble. I just wanted to surprise you. It wasn't on purpose. In front of Zhou Wenhua, Li Ronghua held back her spirited nature, becoming as timid and awkward as a child. Because she truly loved Zhou Wenhua. Deeply loved him. A love that seemed beyond cure. Zhou Wenhua frowned in disgust. Never mind, just don't try to be smart next time. At his words, Li Ronghua immediately broke into a joyous smile. Okay. I promise. By the way, Wenhua, is that comrade a classmate of yours? Was she scared off by me just now? When Li Ronghua first spotted Zhou Wenhua, she was so excited that she didn't notice the two of them holding hands. Zhou Wenhua replied, "Her name is Su Ziqin, a university classmate of mine." As he said this, Zhou Wenhua waved toward Su Ziqin over here. Su Ziqin was a city girl with an extraordinary aura. Her hair was tied in 2 long braids, she wore a floral dress and black high heels were on her feet. Ziqin, this is Li Ronghua, Zhou Wenhua introduced. Su Ziqin smiled at Li Ronghua, reaching out her hand. Hello comrade Li Ronghua, I've heard about you from Wenhua. Today I finally meet you. You're even prettier than what Wenhua described. Indeed, Li Ronghua was pretty, but compared to Su Ziqin, she lacked self-confidence. She seemed very timid. Standing before university-educated Su Ziqin, Li Ronghua felt immensely inferior. She reached out and shook Su's hand. Hello. Wenhua told me you're a year older than me. Can I call you Sister Ronghua? Su Ziqin was more approachable than Li Ronghua had imagined. Chapter 573, Insane Slapping. _5. Sure. Li Ronghua nodded. Sister Ronghua, you call Wenhua by his name, you can call me Ziqin too. Su Ziqin continued. Seeing Su Ziqin being so gentle, Li Ronghua relaxed quite a bit. What does she have to feel inferior about? Although she didn't go to college, but her boyfriend did, didn't he? The 3 of them walked out of the train station together. Zhou Wenhua handed their luggage to Li Ronghua. You go to my house by bike alone. We will go by taxi. Wenhua, I can take you on my bike. Li Ronghua hadn't grasped what was happening yet. Zhou Wenhua followed up with, Ziqin is also going. Oh, I see. Li Ronghua finally understood, and gave Zhou Wenhua a knowing glance. Zhou Wenhua, who had been with Li Ronghua for such a long time, still had some mutual understanding. He walked over to Li Ronghua and impatiently said, What's wrong? Li Ronghua pulled Zhou Wenhua aside and whispered, Wenhua, do you have money for the taxi? How embarrassing it would be to ride with a female classmate and not have money. I have money. Stop worrying about me. Zhou Wenhua hated her bearing the look of offering alms. Perhaps he had forgotten that the money for the trip to Guangguan was quietly provided by Li Ronghua. Without Li Ronghua, he might not even have money for a repeater tuition. Wenhua, I know you're worried about me not having money to spend. Rest assured, I have money. Li Ronghua stuffed a big yuan note into Zhou Wenhua's pocket. Anger was evident in Zhou Wenhua's eyes. Right at this moment, Su Ziqin picked up a suitcase and spoke up. Wenhua, I just remembered my mom is awaiting my return home. I'll have to visit your place next time. Having said that, Su Ziqin turned around with her suitcase and left. Zhou Wenhua instantly chased after her. Ziqin. Su Ziqin looked back and said, Wenhua, go home with Sister Ronghua first. I'm fine, I can visit your home at any time during the summer vacation. But I hope you can handle things with Sister Ronghua soon. So I'll be off. With no choice left, Zhou Wenhua had to let Su Ziqin leave first. Li Ronghua caught up from behind. Strange. Why did Ziqin leave? Zhou Wenhua frowned. This is all because of you. If not for Li Ronghua, would Su Ziqin have left? Li Ronghua immediately apologized. I'm sorry, Wenhua. I embarrassed you in front of your classmate. I promise, this will never happen again. Zhou Wenhua also greatly disliked Li Ronghua's groveling attitude. Such lowliness is inherent to people of her status. They can never elevate their position. Let's go. Zhou Wenhua strode forward. Li Ronghua quickly matched his pace. Zhou Wenhua's home was located in the city. Their house was given to them by the factory. It seemed in better condition than Li Ronghua's house by a lot. As soon as they knocked, Zhou Wenhua's mother, Wang Meiying, and father Zhou Guikai fervently came out to greet them. Wenhua is back. If Anai Yang were present, she would certainly recognize that this Wang Meiying was the same aunt she met at the airport that day. And that girl who was hopelessly devoted was indeed Li Ronghua. Mom, Dad. Uncle Zhou, Auntie Zhou. Li Ronghua followed, calling them from behind. Zhou Wenhua's parents outright ignored Li Ronghua. Glancing behind Zhou Wenhua, their faces suddenly fell. Wenhua, why isn't Ziqin with you? Zhou Wenhua brusquely replied. She couldn't come due to some sudden matters. Why couldn't she come? Wang Meiying anxiously exclaimed. Didn't she say on the phone that she was coming today? Did your childish antics make her angry? This child, how could you upset Ziqin? Only Su Ziqin could become Wang Meiying's ideal daughter-in-law. Not only was she a college student, she also came from a good background, with parents who were top leaders at the factory. Zhou Wenhua and her were undoubtedly a perfect match. She's much stronger than Li Ronghua by countless folds. Li Ronghua immediately admitted her mistake. I'm sorry, Auntie, it wasn't Wenhua's fault. It was all my fault. Ziqin was originally going to come. The fault was hers from the start. She couldn't let Zhou Wenhua take the blame for her. Upon hearing this, Wang Meiying was immediately enraged. Just about to burst out with a torrent of abuse, Zhou Guikai, the head of the family, said, if she didn't come, she didn't come. Come on in. Don't stand outside. At the same time, Zhou Guikai subtly pulled Wang Meiying's hand. Only then did Wang Meiying suppress her anger. In the living room, the food was already set on the table. The dishes were very rich, with braised pork, roasted duck, and chicken soup, all filling the table. Li Ronghua was very pleased, as this spread revealed how much the Zhou family valued her. Is everyone here? Can we start eating? A girl around 12 or 13 years old came out of the inner room. This was Zhou Wenhua's younger sister, Zhou Xiuzhen. Wang Meiying vented obliquely. Eat, eat, eat. All you know is to eat. Why don't you drop dead from overeating? Zhou Xiuzhen didn't care, looked around the room, and asked curiously, did Sister Zijin not come? Zhou Wenhua replied, your sister Zijin had something come up last minute. She'll come visit our home another day. Zhou Xiuzhen nodded her head, somewhat regretful. Then the meal Mom made today, isn't it? Wasted. Little did they know, this meal was specially prepared for Su Zijin, the future daughter-in-law of Wang Meiying. Unexpectedly, Li Ronghua took advantage of it. Before she could finish, Zhou Xiuzhen braked in time and quickly changed her tune to say, Mom's cooking today smells delightful. All of it was made for Sister Ronghua, so you must eat more later on. Li Ronghua, slightly embarrassed, replied, oh, you're being too kind, Auntie. Inside, Zhou Xiuzhen secretly thought that Li Ronghua was being really foolish, but she said out loud, it's because you're an honored guest, Sister Ronghua. Her words left Li Ronghua flushing even more. As people gathered around to have a meal, Li Ronghua took a big chicken leg. Seeing Li Ronghua take the drumstick, Wang Meiying was seething inside. This glutton. Shameless. Always picking the best food. Showing no consideration at all. The next moment, Li Ronghua put the drumstick into Zhou Wenhua's bowl. Wenhua, you must be tired from studying so much. Have this drumstick to replenish your strength. Knowing that the Zhou family wasn't well off, each time she visited, Li Ronghua would eat pickles and left the delicious dishes for others whenever she could. After seeing this, Wang Meiying felt a bit relieved. After the meal, Li Ronghua quietly went to Zhou Wenhua's room. Zhou Wenhua, not knowing what she was working quietly on at the desk, was startled when he saw Li Ronghua come in. He chided her. How many times have I told you to knock first before entering? Do you even know what personal privacy means? That's just how Li Ronghua was. Uneducated, without worldly wisdom. It was all in vain telling her. Li Ronghua smiled. Wenhua, we are dating. Why are you still talking about privacy? Besides, what were you writing just now? Because of love, she could tolerate all of Zhou Wenhua's shortcomings. Zhou Wenhua closed his notebook, repulsion evident in his eyes. Even if I told you, would you understand? An illiterate who hadn't even finished junior high school. Li Ronghua giggled. Wenhua, don't be mad. Look at this, it's a gift I specifically asked my boss to bring back from M country for you. Li Ronghua took out a black and white box. The box was marked with a line of English letters. Parker. Is this a Parker fountain pen? Zhou Wenhua seemed incredibly excited. A Parker fountain pen costs over 200 yuan. 2 students in his class already own one. If he could use one too, it would be such a display of prestige. Seeing Zhou Wenhua's delight, Li Ronghua was also overjoyed. Yes, it's a Parker fountain pen. Wenhua, do you like it? Chapter 574. You really are a good child. _1 Zhou Wenhua did not respond to Li Ronghua's words. Instead, he ripped open the box that contained the pen. It's a Parker pen. It's really a Parker pen. Zhou Wenhua was thrilled. He hugged Li Ronghua tightly, saying, Ronghua, thank you. I love you. Zhou Wenhua was only this enthusiastic towards Li Ronghua when he received a gift that he had been longing for. Li Ronghua, a bit embarrassed, pushed Zhou Wenhua away. Wenhua, what are you doing? Stop being cheeky. You should check out the pen first. I'm going to go see if Auntie needs any help. The couple had been seeing each other for a few years now, yet they hadn't engaged in any overly intimate behaviors. This made Li Ronghua feel a little uncomfortable. Upon entering the living room, Li Ronghua saw Wang Meiying sitting on the sofa, picking her teeth. Upon seeing Li Ronghua approach, she immediately yelled at Zhou Xiuzhen. You lazy bum! Why haven't you done the dishes yet? All you do is eat and laze around. Li Ronghua, seemingly oblivious to the hidden meaning in Wang Meiying's words, quickly replied. Auntie, Xiuzhen is still young, let me do the dishes. Wang Meiying forced a fake smile. Oh Ronghua, that would be such a nuisance for you, what a good child you are. It's no hassle. What's so hard about washing dishes? Li Ronghua immediately headed to the kitchen to start washing the dishes. The stove was piled with dishes, some from the morning. Humming a small tune, Li Ronghua efficiently washed the dishes. For her, this was nothing. Because here, there were people she loved, and people who loved her. Besides, how many daughters-in-law wouldn't have to wash dishes at their in-laws' home? Sister-in-law. Zhou Xiuzhen cheerfully walked in from outside, speaking warmly. Sister-in-law, you're washing dishes? Can I help you? Li Ronghua, a bit embarrassed, said, Don't go calling me that. Zhou Xiuzhen replied, Anyway, you're going to be my sister-in-law sooner or later. Plus, I only call you that when others aren't around. Sister-in-law, let me help you. It's too much for you to do alone. Li Ronghua laughed. It's okay, you can go out and play. Zhou Xiuzhen looked at Li Ronghua, wanting to say something but stopping herself. Humming her tune, Li Ronghua didn't notice Zhou Xiuzhen's strange behavior. Zhou Xiuzhen pouted. What's going on with Li Ronghua today? Could it be that she didn't notice her unusual behavior? Since Li Ronghua remained silent, Zhou Xiuzhen had no choice but to speak up. Sister-in-law, I need your help with something. What is it? Li Ronghua glanced at her. Zhou Xiuzhen continued, Sister-in-law, could you lend me some money? To Zhou Xiuzhen, Li Ronghua was like a walking ATM. Just like a fool, she could be easily tricked every time. Of course. Li Ronghua wiped her hands on her apron and without hesitation, pulled out some coins from her pocket and gave them to Zhou Xiuzhen. Here you go. The coins were all pennies and dimes, the largest of which was only 3 cents. Added together, they didn't even amount to 30 cents. Zhou Xiuzhen complained somewhat contemptuously. Isn't this too little? Sister-in-law, could you give me some more? Li Ronghua said. What does a kid like you need so much money for? Sister-in-law, please, you're my own sister-in-law. I'm not asking for much, just 2 yuan will do. Zhou Xiuzhen was Zhou Wenhua's only sister and her future sister-in-law. Naturally, she couldn't offend her future sister-in-law. Li Ronghua nodded. All right. I'll give it to you. You're the best sister-in-law. Zhou Xiuzhen was very happy. After taking the money, Zhou Xiuzhen ran out of the kitchen. Once Li Ronghua had finished the dishes and left the kitchen, Wang Meiying instructed Zhou Xiuzhen to do the laundry. In the end, the person doing the laundry turned out to be Li Ronghua. The laundry had been piling up for days. By the time Li Ronghua had finished washing the laundry, it was already past 5 in the afternoon. Uncle, Auntie, it's getting late, I should go home. Chapter 575. Extremely proud comparison. One more. _1 Wang Meiying feigned politeness and said, Ronghua, let Wenhua take you home. No need, Li Ronghua refused. Wenhua is reading. We better not disturb him. Wang Meiying smiled and said, Ronghua, you're such a good kid. Li Ronghua, slightly embarrassed, said, I'm just doing what I should do. With that said, Li Ronghua left on his bike. Watching Li Ronghua's retreating figure, Wang Meiying spat on the ground and muttered, Pa! What a piece of trash! A shameless beggar! After Li Ronghua left, Zhou Wenhua emerged from the room. He had been pretending to read to avoid Li Ronghua. Zhou Guikai and Wang Meiying were sitting at the table. Zhou Wenhua resumed, Mom, Dad, I want to break up with Li Ronghua as soon as possible. Why? Zhou Guikai asked, surprised. Impatient, Wang Meiying asked, Did Zijin ask you to break up as soon as possible? In reality, Su Ziqin was already with Zhou Wenhua. Zhou's parents were very pleased with their prospective daughter-in-law. Zhou Wenhua continued, Zijin understands me. She also sympathizes with Li Ronghua and agrees to give me time to handle this. But I just can't stand it anymore. Every minute with Li Ronghua is torture. He had nothing in common with Li Ronghua. When he said one thing, Li Ronghua could manage to twist it to something else. Sometimes her responses were entirely unrelated. He was really fed up. No way, you can't break up with Li Ronghua for the time being. Zhou Guikai spoke up. Right, I don't agree either. Why? Zhou Wenhua looked at his parents incredulously. Mom, Dad, don't you dislike Li Ronghua too? Yes, we certainly don't like Li Ronghua. Zhou Guikai nodded. Impatiently, Zhou Wenhua asked, Then why won't you let me break up with her? The sooner he broke up, the sooner he'd be free. Because of Li Ronghua, he couldn't openly introduce Su Zijin to others. He could only say that Su Zijin was his classmate, which resulted in Su Zijin suffering a lot. Wang Meiying continued. You and Zijin are dating, eating, going to the movies, buying clothes. Doesn't all of that cost money? You certainly can't use Zijin's money. Our income is not substantial, and with your brother and sister still studying, when you really break up with Li Ronghua, where will the money come from? To their family, Li Ronghua was like a free ATM. Without Li Ronghua, their life wouldn't be as comfortable. Regardless of the job Li Ronghua was doing, she gave all her money to their family without reserving a cent for herself. Sometimes, Li Ronghua would even give money from her own parents to Zhou Wenhua. Zhou Wenhua frowned. Am I supposed to rely on a woman to support me? Zhou Wenhua was poor but proud. He didn't want to be tagged as one living off a woman. If his classmates heard about it, how would he save face? Zhou Guikai glanced at Zhou Wenhua. Now is not the time for you to act bravely. There are countless examples of men having multiple wives in ancient times. If a woman is willing to give you money, that's because of your own ability. Hearing this, Wang Meiying immediately echoed, Exactly. Your father is absolutely right. Does the guy next door, Erguzi, have such ability? I've heard from the matchmaker, his mother introduced him to so many girls, not one of them liked him. When Wang Meiying said this, she appeared extremely proud. Could she not be proud of having such a capable son? Not everyone had the fortune to have such a capable son. Zhou Wenhua's vanity was slowly filled by his parents' words. Yes, Li Ronghua willingly gave him money, but he had never asked her for a cent. As for the money that came unasked, why wouldn't he accept it? Zhou Wenhua nodded. Fine, I'll listen to you. But Mom and Dad, dragging this on forever isn't viable either, it's not fair to Zijin. Su Ziqin was an innocent young girl. She couldn't just blindly follow him around. Like this. Wang Meiying's eyes twinkled. I'll think of a way for you. So you can have money to spend. And also break up with Li Ronghua. Deal. The courtyard of the Inai family. In the evening, the courtyard was filled with the rich aroma of food, and the house was filled with laughter. After these days of hard study, Suehua had managed to learn quite a lot of English. At the moment, she was practicing English conversation with Yang Yang. Chengue said with a smile, Yang Yang's mom, you're amazing. It seems that I should learn from you. Suehua humbly replied, oh come on, I'm just doing it for fun. Chengue continued, I'm just joking around. If I actually had to do this, I definitely wouldn't have the patience. She was over 40. Where would she have the mood to study this? She didn't have the steadfastness and perseverance of Suehua. Suehua was the kind of person who thirsted for knowledge and was very smart. Chengue continued, Yang Yang's mom, you never wanted to go to school when you were younger. If you had, you would have gone to university a long time ago. Also, Suehua had a certain quality about her that was not ordinary. Perhaps it was because of her years living as a peasant woman. It had concealed this quality. After coming to Beijing, as she broadened her horizons, the concealed quality slowly began to emerge. Now, you could hardly see any trace of her past in Suehua. If you were to say that she was the rich daughter of a wealthy family, people would believe it. Suehua chuckled and said, Sister Chengue, you sure know how to flatter. How am I as brilliant as you say? You're much smarter than I am. The two started to exchange compliments. Over at the Li family, when Li Ronghua came back, the Li family were having dinner. Han Xiaoqin looked at Li Ronghua. Ronghua, how did your visit to Wenhua's go today? What did his parents say? What did they say? Li Ronghua looked at Han Xiaoqin with some confusion. Han Xiaoqin just spread it out and said, Ronghua, you and Wenhua are not getting any younger, especially for girls of your age who can't afford to wait. What did Wenhua's parents say? When do they plan to come and propose? Han Xiaoqin was quite satisfied with Zhou Wenhua as a son-in-law. After all, Zhou Wenhua was a college student. From any perspective, Li Ronghua was marrying above her class. Li Ronghua was already 22 this year. In the countryside, she would be considered an old maid. Usually at her age, they would already have several kids. If she doesn't get married soon, she will not get married at all. However, the Zhou family hadn't shown any signs of coming to propose. This made Han Xiaoqin a bit anxious. Li Ronghua wasn't worried about this problem. She laughed and said, Mom, don't worry about nothing. Wenhua is only a sophomore this year. He would at least wait until he graduates from college before discussing our relationship. 2 years later? Asked Han Xiaoqin surprised. 2 years later you will be 24. Which girl who didn't study makes it to 24 without getting married? If the Zhou family doesn't want you by then, you'll have nowhere to go and cry. Li Ronghua said laughingly, Wenhua is not that kind of person. She had known Zhou Wenhua for so long. She firmly believed his character. Han Xiaoqin said, back then, Qin Xianglian also didn't believe that Chen Shimi was an ungrateful man who abandoned his wife and children. But what happened in the end? What was Qin Xianglian's fate? Li Ronghua helplessly replied, Mom, you're going off track. How can you compare Wenhua with Chen Shimi? People are hard to read. I think Zhou Wenhua might not be such a good guy. Gooden chimed in. Gooden really didn't like Zhou Wenhua. He always felt that Zhou Wenhua was a bit dismissive of their family. Every time he came, he would refuse even a sip of water, acting as if he was some kind of golden phoenix. And yet his parents and sister really liked him. Li Ronghua glared at Gooden. Go away. What do you, a child, know about this? What Zhou Wenhua? Is Zhou Wenhua a name you can say? He's your future brother-in-law. Gooden shook his head. Li Ronghua, if only you were half as smart as sister and I Yang, then I wouldn't have to worry. Li Ronghua couldn't be bothered with Gooden. Gooden continued. Just look at the boyfriend that sister and I Yang is dating. He's so good. Every time he comes, he does chores for her family, washing dishes, installing pipes. He even dug a ditch for her last time. But look at Zhou Wenhua. What has he ever done for us? Every time he comes, he's so picky. Chapter 576. Can't lag behind. 2 more updates. _1 Gooden is a child. His perspective did not encompass the complexity and apprehensions that adults possess. Hence, he sees things more clearly and transparently. Li Ronghua said, Your brother-in-law is an intellectual. He is destined to have a stable job, to work in an office. How could he do such grueling work? Gooden retorted. But Xiaomo's family is rich. How could Zhou Wenhua's family compare to Xiaomo's? Hearing this, Han Xiaoqin and Gooden's father's expressions changed. No one had mentioned this before, and they had not felt anything. But now that Gooden has mentioned it, it seems like Zhou Wenhua does look down on their family. Gooden's dad exhaled a puff of dry smoke. Xiaoma is indeed an exceptional child. Each time he sees us, he is always polite. Zhou Wenhua, whenever he sees people from the village, it's as if he wishes he could hold his head high in the clouds, let alone offer a greeting. Li Ronghua disagreed. Different people have different personalities. Wenhua is not a talkative person by nature. Han Xiaoqin frowned, then said, Ronghua, you should go talk to Wenhua's family about this matter tomorrow. If they do not show some sincerity, let them pay back all the money that you have subsidized for him over the years, and let's just forget about you too. Li Ronghua is beautiful. There's no worry that she won't be able to get married. Why should she have to stick to Zhou Wenhua? Gooden's dad added. Your mom is right. If their family is not sincere about this, let's drop it. No way. How could this be possible? Wenhua is only a sophomore this year. Aren't you all intentionally making things difficult for him? Mom, Dad, how could you? Li Ronghua was extremely unhappy with her parents' decision. Your dad and I are doing this for your own good. Han Xiaoqin continued. Gooden is right. I suspect that Zhou Wenhua does look down on our family. Otherwise, he would not have been so indifferent all these years without giving you a title. As for their parents, they haven't even shown their faces from beginning to end. I don't think they value you at all. I don't want to argue with you. Li Ronghua slammed down her chopsticks and stormed into the house in a huff. Look at this child. You've spoiled her. What a temper. Han Xiaoqin looked at Gooden's dad, her face filled with anger. They didn't discriminate between men and women in their family, and since Li Ronghua was the only daughter, she had been inevitably spoiled a bit more. The reason Li Ronghua didn't continue her studies wasn't because her parents wouldn't let her. It was entirely because she didn't want to. Gooden's dad sighed. Let's just let her be. The next morning, Li Ronghua went to work without having breakfast. And Yang just happened to be free today, and came to help at the noodle restaurant. The business in the noodle restaurant was as good as ever. Ever since it opened, there has never been a shortage of people waiting in line. Let me tell you, the pickled fish noodles here are so delicious. They'll treat us today. Really? Absolutely. This voice sounds familiar. And Yang looked up. Oh, isn't this the two ants I met at the airport last time? And Yang squinted, walked into the kitchen, brought out the camera, and placed it on the windowsill. The lens was pointed directly at their table. Li Ronghua is a good girl and a good employee. And Yang didn't want her to be deceived. Although he is not sure whether or not this woman is Li Ronghua's boyfriend's mother, and Yang does not want to miss the opportunity for Li Ronghua to see the truth. After he had put the camera on the windowsill, and Yang came over to the table. May I ask, what would you two like to eat? Wang Meiying said, 2 bowls of pickled fish noodles, please. All right. And Yang nodded. Please wait for a moment. When Yang brought the noodles to the table, Wang Meiying had already started boasting. She praised Zhou Wenhua to the skies. What counts as Li Ronghua? Li Ronghua couldn't even compare to a pile of dog poo. Daqiang's mom, let me tell you. Each time that girl comes over, she's always washing dishes and clothes. You can't even stop her. She even frequently gives my daughter pocket money. Really? Daqiang's mom found it hard to believe. Was there really such a masochistic young girl in this world? Even though Zhou Wenhua is a college student, surely he wouldn't have such burning feelings toward her? With satisfaction, Wang Meiying said. What do you mean, true or not? It just happened the day before yesterday. I even invited you to my house to visit, but you didn't come. If you had come, you would have definitely seen her behaving like a lapdog. Daqiangzi's mother said, when I have time, I'll definitely come to visit your home. Wang Meiying continued. However, you may not see it in the future. Why? Daqiangzi's mother was somewhat puzzled. Other families would beg to marry a bride, but the Zhou family is peculiar. They push away a bride-to-be who comes to their doorstep. The ones in the drought would be parched to death, and those in the flood drowned. Because my son doesn't fancy such common girls who throw themselves at him. She's just working for a small business, while my son is a university graduate. Their social statuses are mismatching. To tell you the truth, my son now has a girlfriend who is on par with him, also a university student. Not only is she a pretty girl and a university student, but her parents are also high-ranking officials in the factory. Once my son graduates, he will become a leader in their factory. Dak Yangzi's mother asked. So are you saying Zhou Wenhua will break up with that girl? Yes, Wang Meiying said, brimming with pride. Dak Yangzi's mother sighed. The benefit of education is undeniable. Dak Yangzi is even 2 years older than your Wenhua, yet is still single. After finishing their noodles, the two sat at the table for nearly half an hour, all the time praising Zhou Wenhua. After they left, An Yang put away his camera. Li Ronghua's mood was somewhat complicated, and on top of that, she hadn't eaten breakfast, hence she felt a bit off. But when customers came, she still perked up. Icy Skin Jade is a high-end skincare product. Although there are not many customers, once a deal is struck, the transaction amount is usually around 100 yuan. Thanks to Li Ronghua's excellent selling skills, she managed to get 500 yuan in transactions just this morning. Add in commission and such, she makes more than 200 yuan in addition to her 300 yuan salary each month. Sister Ronghua, there's a guy out there looking for you. Is he your boyfriend? One of the employees walked over to Li Ronghua. Another employee giggled. Sister Ronghua, your boyfriend is so handsome. Li Ronghua asked in surprise. Really? Really? Li Ronghua rushed to the entrance and indeed saw Zhou Wenhua standing there. Wenhua. Li Ronghua was beyond joy and surprise. Zhou Wenhua is a university student and has always looked down on her job. So Li Ronghua was surprised that Zhou Wenhua would actually come to see her. Perhaps that's what love is. Li Ronghua, this is for you. Zhou Wenhua handed Li Ronghua a paper bag. Wow. Stinky tofu. Li Ronghua thanked him joyfully. Thank you, Wenhua. Indeed. There were stinky tofu in the bag. Li Ronghua was keen on these things that most people found distasteful. Even the food she liked was lowbrow. Zhou Wenhua looked down on it, but smiled and said, You still have to thank me? By the way, when are you off work? Not for a while, Li Ronghua replied. Wenhua, you didn't come to pick me up from work, did you? Zhou Wenhua nodded and then asked, Is this shop selling skincare products? Yes. Zhou Wenhua continued. Does your shop have a special magical whitening moisturizer? Yes. Li Ronghua was touched. For her sake, Zhou Wenhua had paid such attention to her work. For a man to remember the skincare products a woman uses, it's truly not easy. Zhou Wenhua continued. Give me a bottle of whitening moisturizer. Li Ronghua paused, then asked. What would a man need whitening moisturizer for? Do you want to give it to your mother? If it's for Auntie, I think wrinkle cream would be better. It's for Zijin. Her birthday is the day after tomorrow. Earlier, when Zhou Wenhua was out shopping with Su Ziqin, they accidentally stumbled upon one of the branches of Icy Skin Jade. Zhou Wenhua had queued up with Su Ziqin for a long time at that time, but unfortunately, they didn't get the whitening moisturizer that Su Ziqin wanted. Therefore, Zhou Wenhua wanted to give Su Ziqin a surprise on her birthday. Li Ronghua trusted Zhou Wenhua completely. Hearing that he wanted to give Su Ziqin the whitening moisturizer, she didn't think too much of it, taking it as a normal social interaction. Even though she didn't go to university, she knew that it was very important to build connections in the university. She couldn't afford to be Zhou Wenhua's deadweight. Chapter 577. To buy whitening moisturizing cream, third update. _1 Li Ronghua continued. The whitening moisturizer for this month is sold out. If you want to buy it, you have to wait until the 5th. Wenhua, would you mind if I get it for you on the 5th? Zhou Wenhua did not directly answer Li Ronghua's words but instead asked, What date is the day after tomorrow? It's the 3rd. Li Ronghua replied. Zhou Wenhua countered. Then do you think it's acceptable for you to bring it to me on the 5th? Li Ronghua, do you think I can't afford it and are purposely trying to embarrass me? No, I'm not. Wenhua, how could you think that of me? Li Ronghua hurriedly explained. The whitening moisturizer is extremely popular. It's snatched up as soon as it hits the shelves each month. If you give me some time, I'll see if I can find a workaround. Really? Zhou Wenhua's expression slightly softened. Li Ronghua continued. Wait for me here. Then hurry up. Zhou Wenhua appeared impatient. Li Ronghua turned around and went inside the store. Xiaohe. What's wrong, Sister Ronghua? Xiaohe put down the aloe gel in her hand and walked over to Li Ronghua. Li Ronghua continued. Xiaohe, did you buy a bottle of whitening moisturizer last month? Yes, Xiaohe nodded. Why? Li Ronghua grabbed Ziahe's hand. Xiaohe, dear sister, can you do me a favor? Xiaohe was taken aback, then said, What favor? Sister Ronghua, just tell me directly. Li Ronghua continued. Dear, could you let your sister have that bottle of whitening moisturizer? I really need it. Well, Xiaohe hesitated. Although they are in-house employees, getting the whitening moisturizer is also quite difficult, requiring them to queue and reserve like regular customers. If every employee took advantage of their internal resources to stockpile goods and sell them at high prices, wouldn't that create chaos? Xiaohe, my dear sister, please help me? Li Ronghua pleaded. I'm willing to give you my entire month's commission. What was a mere month's commission to her, when she was willing to give up everything for Zhou Wenhua? This proposal tempted Xiaohe. After all, Li Ronghua's monthly commission was quite considerable, and Li Ronghua was the store manager, essentially a leader. She didn't want to offend Li Ronghua. Xiaohe continued, Sister Ronghua, we're colleagues. If you really want it, just give me half a month's commission. Really? Li Ronghua asked, surprised. Yes. Xiaohe continued. I'll go get you the whitening moisturizer. Thank you, Xiaohe. You're really like my own sister. Li Ronghua was extremely excited. She was also overjoyed that she could help Zhou Wenhua. Shortly after, Xiaohe came out with the whitening moisturizer. Li Ronghua took the whitening moisturizer. Xiaohe, things are a bit tight for me this month. Can I pay you when I get my salary in the middle of the month? The whitening moisturizer costs 125 yuan a bottle. Li Ronghua had used all this month's salary to help Zhou Wenhua. She had just spent 200 yuan on a single fountain pen. Where would she get the money to pay Xiaohe? Xiaohe laughed. It's all right, wait till the middle of the month. I'm not dependent on this money. Li Ronghua was the store manager here, so she wasn't worried about her running away. Li Ronghua came back outside with the whitening moisturizer in hand. Zhou Wenhua impatiently said, Why did it take so long to come out? If you didn't want to do it, you should have just said so. There's no need to jerk me around like this. Li Ronghua immediately apologized. I'm sorry, Wenhua, it wasn't intentional. Hey, race your whitening moisturizer. Despite the groveling in front of Zhou Wenhua that felt deep to her bones, she didn't understand that a flower can never bloom out of dust. Zhou Wenhua took the moisturizer and asked, Do you have money on you right now? This was the first time Zhou Wenhua had asked Li Ronghua for money up front. In the past, it had always been Li Ronghua voluntarily offering money to Zhou Wenhua. Hearing this, Li Ronghua quickly checked her pockets. Pulling out the only bill she had, she handed it to Zhou Wenhua. Here, this is for you. That's it. Zhou Wenhua slightly frowned. Li Ronghua, are you worried I won't pay you back later? Relax, once I graduate and start working, I'll repay you every cent. He was just temporarily broke. How petty of Li Ronghua. What can you do with 10 yuan? Li Ronghua replied. I only have this much on me now. How much do you need, Wenhua? Thinking of his mother's words, Zhou Wenhua said, I need 1,000. 1,000? Li Ronghua was taken aback. Wenhua, why do you need so much money? This is her salary for 4 months. She doesn't have that much money right now. Zhou Wenhua impatiently said. This is between us university students. You wouldn't understand even if I explained. Li Ronghua bit her lip. Can your uncle and aunt help? My parents are getting on in years, and my younger siblings need to go to school. How could you expect me to ask them for money? Li Ronghua, if you don't want to give me money, just say it outright. Why beat around the bush and insult people? Wenhua, don't be angry. I didn't mean that, Li Ronghua said. I will go back and figure something out. When do you need it by? Li Ronghua's father is currently renovating a restaurant for Ni Yang. Han Xiaoqin works in Ni Yang's noodle restaurant, and there are many aloe vera roses growing at home. Their income is quite optimistic, so it shouldn't be difficult to put together 1,000 yuan. Tomorrow, Zhou Wenhua replied. Wang Meiying has planned for him. As soon as he gets this 1,000 yuan, he will find an appropriate opportunity to break up with Li Ronghua. He's had enough of this life. Li Ronghua, an illiterate, is entirely unsuitable for him. As for the money, Li Ronghua gave it to him willingly. He never forced her. Li Ronghua nodded. I'll deliver it to your school tomorrow after work. Although Zhou Wenhua is on summer vacation, he's staying at the university due to their lack of space at home. Oh, come and get it. Zhou Wenhua wouldn't let Li Ronghua come to his school. If his classmates found out he had such a girlfriend, how embarrassing would it be? You're so tired from studying every day, let me deliver it to you. Zhou Wenhua frowned and said, If I say it's not necessary, it's not necessary. Why are you so annoying? Fearing that she would upset Zhou Wenhua further, Li Ronghua immediately said, Okay, I won't go. When a woman is in love, she won't think that Zhou Wenhua was afraid of being embarrassed by her. Instead, she felt that Zhou Wenhua was being considerate, not wanting her to make the trip. Thinking this, Li Ronghua's heart filled with sweetness, as if she had eaten honey. I'm going now, Zhou Wenhua said next. Let me see you out. Li Ronghua followed Zhou Wenhua's footsteps. No need go back, Zhou Wenhua said, his eyes filled with disdain. Wenhua, don't worry. I'll only walk a little bit, everything's fine at the store. Communicating with an illiterate person is exhausting. Zhou Wenhua took a deep breath, his eyes filled with impatience. After seeing Zhou Wenhua off to the mall, Li Ronghua returned to the store. After getting the brightening moisturizer, Zhou Wenhua immediately rushed to curry favor with Su Ziqin. When she got home from work, Li Ronghua discussed the matter of the 1,000 yuan with her parents. Han Xiaoqin said, Ronghua, are you silly? He doesn't even want to acknowledge us as family, and yet you promised to give him 1,000 yuan. Do you think our family is a bank? 1,000 yuan. In the past, they could only earn 100 yuan in a year. This Zhou Wenhua is good, asking for 1,000 just like that. Li Ronghua said, Isn't this to support Wenhua's study? Mom, he is your future son-in-law. You wouldn't refuse, would you? We don't have that much money at home. Dad. Li Ronghua turned her head to Gooden's dad. Gooden's dad took a puff of his dry pipe. In our house, your mother is the boss. Mom. Li Ronghua looked at Han Xiaoqin again. Han Xiaoqin said, 1,000 yuan. Your brothers still need to go to school. Where does the family have so much money? Li Ronghua continued, Mom, you give me whatever you can, and I'll figure out the rest myself. Surely that's okay? That's not possible. Ronghua, let me tell you, you can do whatever with your salary, and we won't ask you for a penny, but don't think about getting any money from the family. Ronghua, haven't you realized it yet? The Zhou family and Zhou Wenhua do not value you at all. Li Ronghua frowned. Mom, if you don't want to lend it, just say so. Why the need to insult Wenhua? He's not that type of person. Chapter 578. Capturing the true colors of the Zhou family. 5th update. _1 Gooden's father tapped his tobacco pipe and said, Ronghua, you need to temper your fiery temper. Your mother means well. She fears you might be deceived. 1,000 yuan is not a trivial sum. Zhou Wenhua is not that kind of person. Li Ronghua retorted. Fine, if you don't want to help, so be it. I'm going for a walk. Li Ronghua put down her chopsticks and walked out. Sis. Li Changsha was just about to follow her but was stopped by Han Xiaoqin. Let her go. This wayward child is getting worse. Sooner or later, she'll come to grief because of Zhou Wenhua. In the beginning, Han Xiaoqin and her family were very satisfied with Zhou Wenhua. Zhou Wenhua was, after all, the first son-in-law in Jinghua village to have graduated from university, giving them bragging rights, didn't he? But over the years, Zhou Wenhua's actions had increasingly disappointed them, especially with Mo Qishan as a comparison, making them look down on Zhou Wenhua even more. Mo Qishan, despite his rich background, was always so polite to the villagers, playing the role of a young man perfectly. As for Zhou Wenhua, he acts all high and mighty just because he's a university graduate, puffing himself up with pride. What was worse is that the Zhou family has yet to acknowledge their relationship properly, Clearly disregarding Li Ronghua yet, Li Ronghua still treats Zhou Wenhua like a treasure. Walking down the countryside road at dusk, Li Ronghua was in a gloomy mood, plucking flowers and plants along her way in frustration. Now that Zhou Wenhua had asked her for money for the first time, she couldn't let him down. Besides, Zhou Wenhua was a person with a strong sense of self-esteem. If he wasn't in trouble, he wouldn't actively ask for money. If she couldn't even fulfill this request of Zhou Wenhua's, could she still consider herself Zhou Wenhua's girlfriend? No way. She had to scrape together this 1,000 yuan. Ding ding ding. At this moment, the sound of a bicycle bell came from behind her. Li Ronghua turned back to find that the person on the bicycle was An Yang. Seeing An Yang was like seeing hope to Li Ronghua, so she immediately waved her hand. Yang. Sister Ronghua. Yang alighted from her bicycle. Li Ronghua asked, Yang, did you just come back from the city? Yes, An Yang nodded slightly. Are you taking a walk, Sister Ronghua? Li Ronghua also nodded, hesitated for a moment, then said, Yang, can you do me a favor? What do you need, Sister Ronghua? Yang, can you lend me 1,000 yuan? An Yang was a big boss now. Lending her 1,000 yuan would not be a problem. An Yang asked with concern, Sister Ronghua, have you encountered some difficulties? Li Ronghua's family was not exactly poor. There was no reason for them to borrow money unless they had encountered a serious problem. Li Ronghua replied, It's not a big problem, just a bit of an emergency. Does it have anything to do with your boyfriend? Asked An Yang. Yes, Li Ronghua nodded. An Yang frowned slightly. Your boyfriend is a university student. What does he need so much money for? Li Ronghua replied, There are many expenses at university. Yang, can you help me out for now? I'll pay you back from my salary. Recalling the footage she had taken in the morning, An Yang said, Let's talk about the money later. Sister Ronghua, come with me to my house. I want to show you something. What is it? Li Ronghua asked. You'll know when you see it. Li Ronghua followed An Yang to the Ni family's house. An Yang immediately led Ronghua to their new house, and they entered the living room on the first floor. Even though they hadn't moved into the new house yet, all the furniture was already arranged. The retro-style decor, even the sofa was made of redwood, looked very pleasing to the eye. Li Ronghua visited An Yang's new house for the first time and expressed her surprise. Yang, your home's renovation is beautiful. It looks just like the ones on TV. An Yang gave a faint smile. Sister Ronghua, please take a seat. Sure. Li Ronghua sat down on the sofa. An Yang walked to the TV, took out a camera from her bag, and connected it with a data cable. Soon enough, a picture appeared on the TV. Li Ronghua excitedly exclaimed, Hey Yang, isn't this your noodle restaurant? An Yang nodded. Yes, it's my restaurant. Today, I accidentally recorded something quite interesting when I was filming there. I'd like to show it to you. Sure. This was Li Ronghua's first time watching a video recording. Soon, a familiar face appeared on the screen. Isn't this my aunt? An Yang asked in confusion. Do you know this person? Li Ronghua pointed at Wang Meiying and said, This is my boyfriend's mother. Oh. An Yang nodded slightly. Yang, why are you showing me this? Li Ronghua was somewhat curious. An Yang continued, You'll understand, Sister Ronghua, just keep watching. At first, Wang Meiying had nothing but praise for Zhou Wenhua. Li Ronghua was very happy and proud. My boyfriend is really something. However, as she kept watching, Li Ronghua felt something was not quite right. Because Wang Meiying mentioned a shameless little girl who keeps throwing herself at her son and constantly gives him gifts. At first, Li Ronghua didn't realize this shameless little girl was her. Not until Wang Meiying continued, That little girl even gave my son a pen the day before yesterday. I heard it's a brand from the USA. It costs over 200 yuan. In reality, my son wouldn't give her a second glance. My son already has a girlfriend from a family that matches ours. You haven't seen how she fawns over him. All those words struck a blow, slicing through Li Ronghua like a knife. She never thought that in the eyes of the elder she respected and loved, she was this kind of shameless person. Ironic. It was just too ironic. Her love for Zhou Wenhua was just a joke to her boyfriend's family. Li Ronghua didn't cry or make a fuss. She just sat quietly on the sofa, spacing out, wishing for a hole to stare at on the television. Sister Ronghua. An Yang approached and patted Li Ronghua on the shoulder. Li Ronghua's emotions exploded in that instant. She turned and hugged An Yang, crying loudly, "Yang Yang! Yang Yang!" An Yang comforted her. "It's okay, don't be upset. In life, who hasn't encountered a few jerks?" Li Ronghua continued to sob. She didn't understand why Zhou Wenhua and his family treated her like this. She loved Zhou Wenhua so much. Where did she go wrong? Was it just because she lacked education? Sister Ronghua, you should break up with that jerk as soon as possible. You are still young. You have a long life ahead of you. You don't need to hang yourself on a crooked tree. I love him. I love him so much. Yang Yang, do you know how much I love him? She met Zhou Wenhua when she was 16. It's been 6 years now. No one knew how deep her feelings for Zhou Wenhua ran. But he doesn't love you anymore, An Yang continued. He's two-timing you, and even wants to take your money, Sister Ronghua. He's not worth your love. No. Wenhua wouldn't lie to me. Wenhua wouldn't deceive me. Li Ronghua shook her head. She absolutely could not accept that Zhou Wenhua had betrayed her. An Yang sighed. Sister Ronghua, there's a saying, love makes people crazy. Now you are the crazy one. I hope you can calm down and think about it carefully. For instance, are there any suspiciously close female students around him? Since his mother said he already has a well-matched girlfriend, there must be some signs. Li Ronghua was stunned. Her first thought was of Suzy Qin, that extraordinary woman who was both a beauty and a university student. No, Wenhua would never betray me. Li Ronghua wiped the tears from her face and stood up. I'm going to find Wenhua. Unless Zhou Wenhua admitted it himself, Li Ronghua would never accept it. Sister Ronghua. An Yang kept up with Li Ronghua. Li Ronghua turned back and tried to keep her tone as calm as possible. Yang Yang, don't follow me. I want to handle this myself. An Yang was somewhat worried, but, don't worry, you'll be fine. Li Ronghua responded without turning back and left the place. Li Ronghua didn't know how she ended up at Zhou Wenhua's school. She had delivered sneakers to Zhou Wenhua here before, so she knew where his dormitory was. But Zhou Wenhua's roommate told her that Zhou Wenhua wasn't in, that he had gone out to watch a movie. As such, Li Ronghua stood at the entrance of the movie theater, waiting for him. She waited for a long time. Only then did she see Zhou Wenhua emerge from the cinema. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.